Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport here for the next instalment of the Pro Series. We are looking forward to this one. Laguna Seca has provided some great action all week thus far, and it provides to be nothing for of greatness once again, because look at these practice times. The top 18, the top 90, in fact now the top 20 are separated by just a little over a second. Rasmussen, new driver into the Pro. Can't wait to see what he's going to do tonight. Mathew not yet set a time. McGowan will miss race one, or is potentially missing race one. Gary Leach is currently doing a system software update, and then we'll hope to be in. So that'll hopefully be done shortly for him. But yeah, what a very tight grid we're seeing once again here in this Pro category. I'm your host, Mathew Duffin, joined in the box once again tonight by Phil Raiden. Phil, good evening. Welcome back to the comms box once again. It's yet again another impressive tight grid out there on the track so far.
Evening, Matt. Yeah, it's tighter than a tight thing, isn't it? And I believe everyone's now within a second, because Rasmussen's gone up to
up to P20. So yeah, you're right. Everybody just within a second, bar Machado, who's not yet set a lap time. So this is impressive stuff tonight, isn't it? I asked Dan the question last night, and I'll ask you the same thing. Is this the tightest two sets of grids that we've had in the history of SimPlay?
One word, yes.
Yeah, same thing as what Dan said. You know, it's simple, isn't it?
Yeah, it's simple. It's so tight. It's just yeah. Okay, you got a few Minardis in Pro-Am, but to put a Formula One term there, but
there is a bit of a pace differential, if you will, from the front to the very back of Pro-Am, unlike Pro. But I suppose in a way though, Phil, this has just provided us with such great drama and great action, hasn't it, so far this season? We're into what? This is week 4, round 7 and 8. We're fastly approaching this halfway stage. And how many times have you, since you've been in the commentary box, you've been able to see a practice session look this close where you can't really pick a winner?
No, you can't, because one mistake and it crucifies you with its pace. What was it?
I was going to say, I think we did the stewarding last week and inputting the times onto the sim grid, what we use for the penalties. You got yourself a 10-second penalty. You was dropping like 5 or 6 places in the Pro category last week. You know, that as how close this championship is.
Yeah, it's closer than I can't think of analogies. No, I can't. I've got none.
We've got a great championship though in store for you tonight, and well, it gets better and better because Dan Davis now leads the way, 37 points from Overtaker, with O'Reilly only 44 behind Dan, and O'Reilly's really becoming, you know, a real championship contender here. Michael Harris is 60 points back, Max Mulder 62 behind, with Skunky in P6 after his debut win in GT3s last week. Wittrup is P7 with Diz in 8th, no Diz tonight. Ben is P9 with Richard Beasley, no Richard Beasley, struggling to get his Xbox account working based off the Xbox problems we had last week. He's P10 from McGowan in P11. Mike Matthews has moved up to 12th with Jamal Crowden 13th. Machado is P14 from Darren Yeo in 15th place. Paolo is in P16 with Matt Wright in 17th. Gary Leach P18. Pedro Viana, we got it right first time tonight, he's P19. Daniel is P20 from Sky Schundelmeyer. Cosme from Tim Ventink. Giggle, Blackmore, The Crashin, Ledger, Eckholt and Rasmussen rounding out the tables. Obviously Rasmussen new this week, so hasn't yet scored a point. The Constructors' Championship looks a little like this. SimPlay Racing lead, 55 points clear of Team FPR with Redline Junkies P3. BSP Esports are P4 from them Fat Bloke Bandits. Dan Seb Racing P6. BSP Racing are P7. Team SPR P8 and the Naval Racing Team are P9. And we don't normally mention the Manufacturers' Championship because normally out of the 4 or 5 seasons we've done it, it was one season Bentley dominance, the rest it's been McLaren dominance. But this season, BMW lead it from Ginetta, from Ferrari, from Mercedes, from Porsche, from McLaren, from Aston, from Alpine, Lamborghini, Lexus, Ford, Honda, Bentley, who got their first points on the board last night. we normally don't talk about his championship too much, Phil. It's just more for me who's a bit of a stats
Stat
geek.
nerd.
Yeah, a bit of a stat nerd, and I do enjoy my stats. But when you look at that this year, Ginettas, because of the extra race, are doing well in P2. Obviously, tonight's results is going to bump Ferrari and BMW up there a little bit more because there's a lot of Ferraris in Pro. But it's just so interesting to see different manufacturers. McLaren, who's been so dominant, P6 in that list because there's less McLarens on the grid this season.
Yeah, and it's nice to see a GT4 car currently P2. Well, a bunch of GT4 cars. There's quite a few in GT4, though. Another
little stat, if you will. If you're a bit of a console warrior nerd,
AKA
I decided to do an Xbox PlayStation one. For all the Xbox drivers, they're on 6,097 points, and PlayStation drivers are on 5,335 points. There's a 762-point difference. Now, when you look at tonight, there is significantly a lot more PlayStation drivers than Xbox drivers. When you look at GT4, there is significantly a lot more Xbox and PlayStation. Pro-Am seems a little bit more tighter, but that'll obviously fluctuate and change tonight. But Phil, it's just been an exciting season, hasn't it? We've not seen dominance from one driver. You know, Overtaker's had great pace at stages. Dan's got 2 race wins. O'Reilly's got a race win. Skunky's got a race win. We saw McGowan have a good week last week. Dan's got 3 race wins. We're not seeing... I say we're not seeing dominance. You know, Dan's lowest finish is 4th. He's had 3 race wins. But he's not having it easy, is he? We've seen Dan have lots of easier race wins.
Yeah. Back in Lambo and McLaren, back on Pro-Am, back on Project Cars 2. So it's hard to pick a winner. Yeah. Well, we're still not even halfway phase to pick a winner yet.
No.
But hopefully it'll go to the wire, which will be a week before Christmas.
Yeah, that is going to be nice. Obviously, the countdown to Christmas will be on as we now get in for the practice session. They've got a minute and a half. Gary Leach still not in this session, so could be starting from the pit lane, which is a shame. He will not be on that grid. I think they'll keep him in the pit lane as from now, so that's a shame for him in this one.
Someone's just popped in. Gary's just got in. He's on the grid.
Is he on the grid? He is on the grid. So, wow, Gary managing to rescue it and get on the grid with a minute to spare, or 30 seconds to spare, really. So Gary Leach, well, count your lucky stars, you are on the grid. But Phil, if we have to pick a winner, who are you going? Who are you looking at?
I think Eckhart, the Dang Train. Prime position. We know he's got the pace to win. Well, to be honest, all 23 cars have got the pace to win this race.
Yeah.
So it's a very tight field. It's very touring car-esque.
It is indeed. We say good evening to Hypertech in the chat. Rob Smith is also there. Chris, good evening to yourself. Obviously, PM Motorsport there. Tips, good evening to you. Gary Clawble, good evening to yourself. Peaceful Explosion has just said that Gary's doing the update being shortly. Excuse me. And also to NRT Sammy. Let's go Pedro and Machado. NRT, he says in the chat. Chris saying that one mistake, that's potentially lost 18 places with those times. And that is exactly right, Chris. We can, though, as the drivers pull away, and we will bring you our fantastic graphic done by our admin, who is in the chat, lad of Hypertech. And we'll get that to you in just a couple of seconds' time. I'm just currently going through who is not driving here today and blacking out their names so I don't have to go past them on inputting their points. Yeah, so you're going Tim. You're going Echo. I'm going to look at... Yeah. Oh. It's hard.
He doesn't want you to curse him.
He doesn't want me to curse him. I'm not going to say Ledger. I'm not going to go there. He doesn't want me to curse him. It's so hard, though. Like, ridiculously hard at the moment. And I think this is where I'm struggling for a name. You know what? I'm going to go out there. I'm going to say Sky Schundelmeyer. Home circuit for himself in America. You know.
Yeah, we had Robert Smith winning last night, didn't we?
Exactly. So let's see what we can do. Right, over to the reverse grid order that our fantastic admin Hypertech has done for us. It is obviously round 7 here at the WeatherTech Raceway here at Laguna Seca. And it is Michael Echo on pole position from that of Patrick Ledger. Row 2 will be Edward Blackmore from Tim Venting. Row 3, Sky Schundelmeyer from Daniel. With row 4, P7, Pedro Viena from Gary Leach, P8, who's just got on the grid in time. Wright is with Paolo. Before Darren Yeo is lined up alongside Machado. Jamal Clouden alongside Mike Matthews. That'll be an interesting row. Ben and Wittrup all together. That's again going to be another interesting row on the grid. Skunky from Max Mulder. Michael Harris from O'Reilly. And then this is probably the best row on the grid. Overtaker from Dan Davis. What a row that is. And then it will be Rasmussen ahead of McGowan. Obviously, McGowan is there just in case he got in, but wasn't able to get in. That then was your reverse grid order for the WeatherTech round 7 and 8 race here. This is, I'm so looking forward to this. This is going to be an interesting race for me. I'm thoroughly glued to my screen at the moment because calling this one, Phil, is going to be hard.
Yeah, well, I'm probably going to need lay down again. Good job. Got a week to recover.
Yeah, well, exactly. We get to go. Yeah, you're not here next week. We get the week to recover. And after last night, to be fair, the whole week of racing at Laguna Seca has been fantastic.
Yeah, for GT4s, what I saw, because I was watching again. As they now go double file as they come to the start-finish line.
Yeah, they do indeed. Round 7 of the season is about to get underway. It's green and go here, and it looks to be a potential good start then from that of Michael Eckholt as Ledger tucks in behind already, trying to look up the inside maybe in towards turn 1. Schundelmeyer's having a bit of a look. Gary's going a couple wide through the outside of turn 1. It's all clean up the front end of the field, and as we go further down, 3 wide there, look, you see Paolo, who's just lost it on the gravel, collects Mike Matthews, who has been caught up in that little drama there. I think Overtaker caught up as well. Dan Davis got through, but Overtaker and Clouden caught up in it. But it is then Eckholt who leads away from Ledger. Then it is Tim Ventink sat in P4. Mulder's the other driver who got caught up in it, waiting for him to come through. So it's Blackmore third, Tim Ventink fourth, as Tim's having a look at Blackmore now. Then it is Schundelmeyer from Gary Leach. Gary Leach moved up a couple of places at the start of this race. Daniel from Viana, Matt Wright, and then it is Machado down the order a little bit. But at the moment, Eckholt having it his own way, and Phil Drama's already at the first couple of corners.
Yeah, it just looked like Paolo dipped the wheel into the grass, and, well, it is grass, but it don't look like it here at Laguna Seca. And it just looped the car around, and he got collected by Mike. So, very unfortunate. And yeah, just one of them, isn't it? Nowhere to really go when the cars are filtering down towards you then. So it's Eckholt who's going to lead us over the line for the end of the first lap. Ledger's gone with him. We've got Blackmore currently sat in third. Tim Ventink, Sky Schundelmeyer, Gary Leach, Daniel Vienna, Machado, Matt Wright from Wittrup, Darren Yeo going side by side with Kieran O'Reilly. He's also been overtaken by what looks to be Skunky also looks like he's got past him. Dan Davis watching on from just behind this of Kieran O'Reilly and Darren Yeo. Gets very close to the back. There's Rasmussen on his debut just behind Dan Davis. Darren Yeo's now going to have the inside line coming into turn 3. Yields that time and gap to Dan Davis. Knows he's probably got to pick a better fight than that one as he lets him go. There's Rasmussen then it's Michael Harris. Looks pretty okay. Ben's got damage. Mike's got damage. Paolo with probably a bit of rear damage. Then Clouden, Overtaker's car. Let's have a look at that as it comes round on the front end. That was off. It doesn't actually look too bad on Overtaker's car, and Max Mulder's got damage to his name as well. But at the minute, Phil, it is Eckholt and Ledger setting the pace. Is Ledger at the moment, and he's the man who's putting Eckholt under pressure. Yep. As Ferrari Hunt versus McLaren, how many times have you seen that through the angles of motor racing? And then there's another. Oh look, it's just completely reversed. I mean, you've got the double Porsches of Sky and Gary.
Yeah, and Gary's not having a bad race so far. He's not yet on that pace of Sky. Sky's kind of in a train with Blackmore and Ventink in himself at the moment. This is on board with Sky Schundelmeyer. Looking forward at Tim Ventink, who he can see that of Blackmore there. You've got the leaders just going over the brow of the hill. Then. And that is where they can still see them. They're in touching distance at the moment. But so far, so good if you are these leaders. Pedro Viana's gone, I think, up the inside of Daniel. Yes, he has. Look, coming through turn 2 now. And that is a good move from Viana. And moves up the inside of Daniel. Then that's another place done as we drop back down to Kieran O'Reilly. He's looking around the outside of that of Wittrup at the minute. Skunky's got past Wittrup. Now O'Reilly's looking past Wittrup. Dan's looking to try and get past the pair of them. They just lean on each other a little bit. O'Reilly keeps it within the limits, doesn't drop the wheel over the gravel. Dan cuts and chops in between the pair of them. Dan's looking up the inside in the Lexus on that of Sebastian Wittrup. Has he got the run up the hill towards the kink? I think O'Reilly's just dropped a wheel in the gravel there. Dan Davis up the inside at the kink. Job done before the kink, and through he goes. Good move. O'Reilly, though, followed him straight through after the kink as well, and that's a move done up before the corkscrew.
I think it's called the Rahal Straight. I can't remember the names for Laguna. All I remember is corkscrew and Andretti hairpin, which is turn technically 2.
Indeed. So dropping down the pack then. Rasmussen having a fight with Michael Harris. And then there's just a gaggle of cars behind. Mike Matthews trying to chase him. Pit window opens in 10 seconds, or 15 seconds, should I say. And at the minute, Schundelmeyer has... what's happened to... Somebody's dropped down the order there. Oh, no, they haven't. No apologies. Gary is just under massive pressure from Pedro. Thought Gary had made up a place. But he's not. He's just under pressure from Pedro. Goes a little deep. Comes back in at turn 1. Bit of a train forming behind Gary now. As Skunky gets up the inside of Matt Wright. Matt Wright's going to try and come back at him. But Dan Davis, crucially, ahead of O'Reilly, who's probably in this race his closest championship rival, with Overtaker having that turn 1 moment.
Yeah, but Overtaker's just fastest lap of the race.
So he's clearly got pace, not clearly got too much damage in his car at this moment in time, and he's going to try and come forward as best he can. And he's on the back, actually, of Jamal Clouden, so Clouden's going to try and defend that one. Clouden's not massively damaged. It's Ben who looks like, actually, when you look at all the cars, Ben's bonnet's flapping around a little bit. So it's Ben who looks like he's come away with the worst damage out of all of that compared to all the other cars. So Clouden on the back of Ben. You just see Ben having a twitch here. Pit window now opens. Echo started to increase that gap. Tim Venting trying to stick with Blackmore as he's pulled away a little bit from Sky Schundelmeyer. But Gary Leach not able to start the back of Schundelmeyer as he's had a massive moment coming through the left-hander. And he's tapped the Ferrari round. Manages to get pointed back in the right direction. But he's going to drop behind his teammate Darren Yeo. Believe the Ferrari there of Daniel was also off.
Cool.
And look at this, you've got Rasmussen looking up the inside of Gary Leach as Darren Yeo trying to look around the outside. Now Rasmussen's going up the inside of Darren Yeo. That's a great move from the debutant. Michael Harris waiting in the wings, and the two Ferraris running side by side together as Gary Leach and Darren Yeo's teammate for Team SBR. Michael Harris trying to make this one interesting with Darren Yeo in towards turn 1. Rasmussen through. Yeo turns in, and there is Harris, who's already got up the inside of Darren Yeo. And Rasmussen now really trying to put some pressure on Gary Leach as they come in towards turn 3. Now, Gary manages to just hold on to that. But like you say, Phil, Vienna in and done. Dan Davis in. O'Reilly in. Dan Davis drive-through penalty! Championship leader has got a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And that'll definitely benefit the rest of the pack trailing behind.
Yeah.
Mike Matthews! I don't know what's just happened to Clouden, by the way. He's just looked up the inside of someone and he's slow to get away, coming up the hill towards the kink. But for SimPlay Racing, it has gone horribly wrong here in the pits.
Dan's is a drive-through, so he must have been a little bit speeding. Mike's is a stop-go.
Yeah, that's much worse. The best thing was, before we came on air, Mike Matthews was in the chat. Yeah, we've got to watch how I come into the pit lane, because I do like to risk it and
Vienna's around.
Try and take as much speed. Vienna is around there. We're currently watching Jamal Clouden as Michael Harris and Rushmore have both been off. Both been off. Patrick Ledger's round. So where's he? There he is. Still trying to rejoin. Yeah, I'm not sure where he's going. Is he heading into pit lane? He is there in the background. Darren Yeo is also in, as is Wittrup, Venting, and now Ledger from 7th place as well. So what has happened there? Look at Rushmore, though. He's on the back of Clouden. Surprised Clouden's not got that car into the pit straight away. Here he comes. Overtaker as well hasn't pitted. I thought he may have matched what Dan Davis was going to do, but he hasn't came in yet. Dan Davis stays out, and he's not going to do his drive-through at this moment. What is Mike Matthews going to do, though? Will he come in for that stop-go? I'm just going to bring up the information that tells us how long it's going to be, and Mike Matthews does come into the pits for that stop-go penalty. That is going to help Ben out. That is also going to help Daniel out. And Ledger, who's only just away, it's going to help him out as well. But Rasmussen on the back of Harris at the moment.
Yeah, as Echo has a comfy 4.5 second lead. As he's now heading towards pit lane. The cameras have changed again.
So Danny's going to lose 21 seconds by pitting for a drive-through. So that is the time he's going to lose. The pits loss for a time for 1 second refuel is 29. So Dan's got to gain a lot of time towards his rivals of Overtaker and pull away a lot of time from O'Reilly. I don't think he's going to be able to with O'Reilly. Overtaker's a story for a different day, though, as into the pits now comes Harris. Overtaker stayed out. He's got Gary Leach on the back of him. Blackmore and Schundelmeyer are in the pits. Overtaker, not got the fastest lap anymore. That's gone the way of Skunky at the moment. Taker obviously moves up to P5 with this. Dan Davis, as Mike does his stop-go, so he's gone a lap down and has come out just behind this battle. But Dan Davis at the moment, who hasn't come in yet again, he's away behind Overtaker at the moment, who's really close to Gary Leach.
Cloudon's in. Dan's got a serve at this lap.
Yeah. So here we go then. Overtaker on the back of Gary, coming in towards turn number 6, up the hill towards the kink. And Taker's car looks in pretty good shape to say he was off at turn 2.
Unless he just stamped on the brakes not to hit anyone with everything going on in front of him.
Yeah, maybe he's just gone off and not actually hit anything.
I said stamp. Uses right finger, left finger.
So he's following Gary.
O'Reilly's fastest lap.
Oh, there we go then. O'Reilly's taking the fastest lap. Dan's on the back of Schundelmeyer. Now, this is good. So I was just about to say that Overtaker's going to be hurt by being stuck behind Gary Leach. But Dan's behind Schundelmeyer. So it's not going to matter. Dan's got to come in this lap, to be fair. Overtaker's in. Overtaker is in. So this is at least going to be 29 seconds, provided he gets it stopped on his markers bang on. Dan's only just leaving the corkscrew. So that shows you the time that Dan's got. The question's going to be, Phil, can Dan drive past his closest championship rival in the pit lane?
Possible. Is Taker stationary yet? He is. That's been stationary a long time.
So Dan's into the pits. Round the little kink, he's clipped the wall. He spun! Dan's dropped it in the pit lane! He's clipped the wall and drops it in the pit lane. He's night. He's going from bad to worse at the moment. And your championship leader is going to massively lose out to his rivals here. O'Reilly is now on the back of Schundelmeyer. And Phil, this is not going the way he wanted. And by the way, this is his 300th race.
300th race? Oh, well, no pressure, Dan, but this will be his drop score. It'll be his drop score, won't it, this round?
More than likely. But we're going to see what's going to happen later to come, because obviously the feature race is coming up with the qualifying, so anything can happen a little later on.
Zeckholt's still not pitted. He's got enough for...
He's got probably 2 more laps in, with it being a 123 race pace they're doing. Skunky's decided to come in. Machado stays out. Gary Leach, I assume, is probably going to come in sooner rather than later. I don't think Gary's going to repair his damage. He seems pretty comfortable out there. Rasmussen in. What will Paolo do? He's the last of the non-pit runners to come into the pit stop, and he's in. So Dan Davis came out just ahead of Daniel in P20. 21 is Daniel, 22nd Clouden. Mike Matthews 23rd and last in this race at the moment. And you have to say, it just hasn't gone SimPlay Racing's way, but this is what the other teams would have wanted so that they could try and pick up some points.
Especially FBR, who are down to
one
driver.
The problem is that it's not going to happen with Beasley having his drop score last week.
Yeah, and obviously still having problems with his end on next swaps. Doesn't go to hiccup. That's great. So Taker is P13.
Yeah, he's P13. I don't know if he got past anybody in the pits there, but Schundelmeyer still defending heavy here from O'Reilly. And Vienna is defending from Skunky at this moment. Tim Venting possibly on net podium. Skunky's looking to the outside of turn 6. Can he get the drive up towards the kink? No, backs back out of that one and tucks back in behind, so he's not going to get anything done there.
There's a ding-dong battle between Overtaker Max and Daz.
Yeah, indeed there is. And Max Mulder right on the back as Overtaker just drops a wheel into the gravel a little bit on the exit of 6 there. And that might make Max a little bit more interested. Overtaker again, a little wider through there. Didn't drop a wheel onto the gravel. In fact, Overtaker has got some damage down the left-hand side of his car, and I didn't notice that earlier. So has he picked that up since? I wonder if he clipped the pit wall like Dan did on entry.
Left-hand side, no.
The left. Yeah, because you turn left, don't you, in the pits?
Yeah, well, you've got a little hit the right-hand side.
What, on the tyre wall on the inside of the pit lane? What, Dan it?
Maybe we don't know, but maybe it's from earlier, and that's the first time it's in the left-hand side of his car.
Possibly so. We'll keep an eye on that though. Overtaker's now starting to pull away from Overtaker and Max are actually started to pull away a little bit from Daz. So Darren Yo not being able to do it in a minute. That's Vienna in a wall. Big time in a wall. Everybody's coming through. He can't get going at the minute. There's not a break big enough as Max is looking around the outside of Overtaker here. Vienna still stationary. Darren Yo's now looking up the inside. Whoa, Overtaker chopped the nose off of Daz there. Daz had to apply a bit of brake as Overtaker come to the right and chopped in front of him. Daz was still there.
Yeah.
Now that's put Daz on the back foot, by the way. Patrick Ledger looking up the inside of Darren Yo with Michael Harris on the back. Darren stays in front. A little risky that from Overtaker.
Well, everyone else is in the pits, so Eckholt's done and away. Macchiato's done and away. Gary's only just arrived in his pit box. Hopefully his left tyre change turned off.
Well, he's on for a potential P5 or 6 here. He's away now, but he's right up there. Skunky and Schundelmeyer come through. O'Reilly's going to get... In fact, Gary's going to tumble down the standings here, but he might be the top SimPlay driver out of the stable of SimPlay drivers. Mike Matthews there in the background. Look, there goes Rasmussen. Gary still on that pit limiter. Here comes Overtaker. This will be the close one. Gary off the limiter. Still not yet. In fact, no, he's going to come out behind Darren Yo then. It's Gary Leach. So running around for that long has not helped him at all. And the undercut clearly strong here because he pitted a couple of laps after Overtaker. And it's not helped him.
Yeah, as Dan's got fastest lap of the race.
Not surprised. Clean air, pushing the car. He's on the back of a trainer Corsa, to be fair. Look behind that battle of Darren Yo.
Yeah, so he could see where he got to go. Gary came out behind Ben.
Yeah, nightmare pit stop for Gary Leach there. I wonder if he left the damage on that cost him a little couple of seconds in the pits. Macharjo's trying to get on Sky. Sky's having a good race.
Sky is having a good race.
Tim,
you know.
Ledger had a big moment, didn't he? So, yeah. Tim second place.
Tim's hunting Eckholt down.
Yeah, Tim's obviously had his tyres up to temperature, hasn't he? A bit before Eckholt, so Eckholt still with work to do at the moment.
Yep. Gunky and P3. Sky, good race by Sky. Very good race. So far.
Really good race by Sky. He's got Machado hunting him down. Max Mulder hasn't given up on Overtaker. Gap 0.6 of a second. And Overtaker, he's got 4 seconds to get onto the back of Rasmussen. Although I think Max is now just over a second. Yeah, he is just. So unlucky for him. Harris trying to hunt down Ledger. Ledger trying to hunt down Yo. We drop back to Gary Leach. Dan Davis trying to hunt down him. That's 0.8 of a second. Gary didn't repair his damage, so just must not have had the pace on them final couple of laps. But Dan can try and see some more points here. Dan and Gary have both got past Ben, because didn't you say that Gary came out behind Ben?
He did, yeah.
So they've both got past Ben at some point in this race. And Jamal Cloud, looked at him on the track map. He's the only one on the opposite side of the circuit to everybody else. He's had another nightmare race one.
He has, yeah. Should have stayed in his McLaren on last season.
Yeah,
there's a lot to learn a new car.
I agree.
I think Tim's pushing too hard, trying to catch Eckholt because he's dropping towards Skunky.
Well, you can't push too hard around here. Dan's got past Gary Leach, by the way, up towards the kink. So Dan's through. And now we've got O'Reilly on the back of Machado. So Machado was trying to catch that of Sky Schundelmeyer. O'Reilly will possibly know that Dan Davis has maybe got an extra place. He now fancies an extra place so that he can try and work his way further forward a bit more and score some more points over Dan Davis. Knowing this will be Dan's drop score, it'll give Dan some points back. But obviously all results are all provisional until the tickets go in and the stewarding gets decided. Max has lost out now to Overtake. That's over a second. Taker's lost out to Rasmussen, though. That's opened up to 5.1. O'Reilly really trying to push hard now. Matt Wright, he's behind Sebastian Wittrup. That's 0.4 of a second. Rasmussen, who's just dropped a little wide, was just under a second to them two. So getting closer. We're not on the final lap. There is going to be one more after this. Ledger on the back of Yo still, and Harris, on board Harris here, look. Whoa! Ledger's just dropped it in front of him. So just as I look away to change the camera, Ledger drops it right in front of Harris. Bounces off the wall. He's now got Dan Davis behind him and Gary Leach, with Ben catching Gary. But a huge moment there for Ledger. Schundelmeyer's had a moment. He's dropped behind Machado and O'Reilly.
Little wiggle he was through the corners. Need to find the names again. So just one more lap to go. Both couple of seconds.
Oh, the 135 and the 33. That's Matt Wright and Sebastian Wittrup, who have had an off. And Darren Yo's going to go through. There goes Harris. Patrick Ledger's going to get past Matt Wright. Dan Davis is going to get past Matt Wright. They don't get past Wittrup, though. Is Gary Leach going to be able to get past Matt Wright? Tucking up the inside. Yes, he does, as does Ben, as Wright was on the gravel on the exit. So they all go through. Up another place. O'Reilly had a moment at the final corner. That's dropped him off the back of Machado. And Tim Ventic now has been passed by Skunky. Skunky is, well, looking for another good result. 2 podiums last week. He's looking for a third.
Hungry. And yesterday in the chat, he was worried about Ferrari's pace here.
Well, the Ferraris didn't look great last night, to be said. Ben and Wright still trying to get on the back of Gary. Vienna's on the back of Paolo. But Michael Eckholt, this is the Michael Eckholt we used to see last season.
It is, isn't it? For the Soldane training pro. Out the final couple of corners, he's out the last corner now.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the final lap. Wittrup then rounds the final corner. He's not won for a while. Sorry, Eckholt, he's not won for a while, but it is going to be a race 1 win here tonight. Michael Eckholt will take the first win of the evening. Skunky takes second place from Tim Ventic. It's a bit of a jump back before we get to that of Emmanuel Machado. O'Reilly P5, Schundelmeyer a good P6. Edward Blackmore 7th place. Rasmussen on debut, that's a P8. He'll be happy with that one. Overtaker P9. I'm sure would have been hoping for more. Wasn't to be, though. Max Mulder P10. Darren Yo a solid 11th place. Michael Harris 12th. Dan Davis 13th with the fastest lap. Wittrup 14th. Gary Leach P15. Ben P16. Matt Wright 17th. Patrick Ledger 18th. Daniel 19th. Paolo is going to hang on in there for 20th. Vienna 21st. And then we just await Jamal Cloudon, who is coming round the back of the circuit. Now, not the race for Eckholt, but he's struggling in them race 1s, isn't he? That is where he is really struggling in these races at the moment, Phil.
Not Cloudon.
Yeah.
You said Eckholt.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I meant Cloudon.
Yeah, just reverse grid. It's stinging some drivers.
Well, that then is the first race, and we'll be back in a few moments' time with race 2. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to SimPlay Motorsport here for the first qualifying of the evening. It is round 8 that is approaching, and the championship standings then look a little like this. It is Dan Davis who has his championship lead cut short by a few points, who is it's 26 points now to Kieran O'Reilly. Overtaker sits P3 on 32 behind. Skunky's P4, only 47 behind. Really tight at the top of the table. Max Mulder's P5 with Harris, Wittrup, Machado, Ben and Tim Bentinck rounding out the top 10. Darren Yeo climbs up to 11th. Great position for him. Sky Schundelmeyer is P12 with Diz in 13th. Mike Matthews P14. Gary Leach in 15th with Richard Beasley P16. Jamal Clouden in 17th. Matt Wright from McGowan. Paolo Vienna. Max Eckholt after his first win of the season. Blackmore, Cosme, Giggle, Ledger, McCrashen and Rasmussen. We are here live then in this qualifying. SimPlay Racing lead the way, 51 points clear of the Red Line Junkies, with BSP Esports sat 52 points behind. Team FBR are down to P4 at the moment. BSP Racing are P5. Team Naval Racing are in P6. Dan said P7. Team SPR P8. And Fat Bloke Bandits down in P9. Obviously, drop scores have to take place in this race. It is qualifying. We're on board with Max Mulder, and we're going to be sat in this session for a brief moment. Phil, just talk us a little bit about what we're expecting to see in this quali, what lap times we're expecting.
Well, something in the 22, maybe a very high 21 if someone really hooks up a lap. But this is going to be close. Really close.
This is going to be Sorry, go on.
I can't even pick someone who's going to be on pole.
No, it's going to be
13 minutes. It's
going to be very, very difficult. Just reading in the chat that Gary Clarble, quality is going to be very interesting. Close on the times. Indeed it is. Remember, if you do like what you see here, hit that subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up hit the thumbs up as well as hitting that bell to be notified. Max Mulder then coming in towards turn 6. The man who's on his first lap at the moment, the 6.64. I believe that is McGowan who's finally into the lobby. He's just in front of him on his outlap. So this will be the first lap of qualifying here. Ben's just returned to the pit lane, so he's got to go again. And this is going to be interesting, Phil, because of the way that these cars are all going at the moment and how tight they are.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Tell you what, you've got to leave a like for this. It's going to be a close one.
It is going to be a close one, and we are joined by a special guest in the commentary box for qualifying. We are joined by my son James, who's sat there looking a little embarrassed at the moment, but he's here to possibly try and have a chat. He's been commentating on his Hot Wheels in his bedroom over the last couple of weeks. He doesn't like anybody to hear him, so he's a little shy and nervous at the moment, but hopefully we can get him on the mic in a few moments' time. Max Mulder crosses the line. There he comes across the line to do a 22.9, and Dan Davis already in the 22.5s. James, Dan Davis, he's a quick driver, isn't he? He's very, very shy. He's not talking at the moment. Overtaker goes within 0.08 of a second into P2 thus far as we drop back down the order. The 1, 2, 3 then of that of Emmanuel Machado is currently 22nd, not yet set a lap time as he comes towards the line now. What lap time can he put on the board? Is it going to be good enough for a pole position? And Phil, we saw last night that these early laps may not count for anything because it was later in the qualifying where we saw the Bentley and other drivers come to the forefront to really set their best times.
Yeah, because the track's still rubbering here, and even though it says optimum, yeah, it's got to be close. I'm already tired from race 1. So, what a pro category we've got this season.
Yeah, it is. It's a great pro category at the minute. Car 98, that is Daniel who's coming towards the final couple of corners. 81 of Paolo is just behind him, so we'll keep an eye on their lap times at the moment. Great result, Tim Bentinck in the first race with a podium.
Yeah, if he does another one like that, he's a contender for driver of the day, isn't he? Is Tim?
Paolo to the line, manages to put a lap time up into P16. Here comes McGowan to set his first lap time. Manages to, I don't know if he went on the board. Yes, he did. Dan Davis, can he improve on that 22.5? Stays at 22.5, but doesn't improve massively amount. And here comes Sky Schundelmeyer, who is coming through. On this track at the moment, at the final corner down towards the start straight. Home circuit for him, not his closest one to home. That'll be the Daytona circuit for him as Sky Schundelmeyer at 7/10. Already we're seeing a second separating the top 14. That is as close as it has been since practice. Obviously a little closer actually with all of the drivers being involved in this, as here comes Machado and improves up to P12 at the moment.
Oh, well, you've also got Sebring in Florida. So, Don't know which end of Florida Sky lives, so...
I think, well, he's, yeah, Sebring or Daytona. I think Daytona's his close. I think that's Tracy before. And it's Daytona. Here comes Pedro Vienna then towards the line, moves up the order, goes P1 with a 22.3. Right, it is game on then in qualifying. Rasmussen's now on pole with a 22.3. Game on, Phil, here. This is now interesting. What can O'Reilly do? P12, 7/10 off. He goes pole position at 22.1. The games have begun, and this is a fantastic qualifying session at the moment already.
Yeah, it's got to be tight. We said this, it's got to be tight. And when we go to Monza next week, ooh, well, you lot are, I'm not, for reasons. But it's, ooh, who will help their teammate out with the draft at Monza?
Yeah, well, this is going to be the interesting thing. Will the teammates help each other out? There's Gary Leach at the moment, down in 22nd, 1.9 off the pole. Overtaker moved up, stayed P7 at the moment as well. Who's coming towards the final couple of corners? Darren Yeo is the next man to set a lap time. He's in the Ferrari at the moment, the 296 Ferrari, down towards the start-finish line, and I had the pleasure of meeting Darren Yeo. He stays P15 for the time being a few weeks ago. The 998 is now coming to the line. That is Patrick Ledger, who moves up into P4. So game on in qualifying still. Drivers started to improve. Who's that coming to the line? It is the 33 of Sebastian Wittrup. Slowest man on circuit at the moment. Then it's going to be Gary Leach. Here comes Wittrup in the BMW. Moves up to 18th. What about Gary Leach? He shoots up to 21st.
Yeah, so 2 seconds currently cover all 24 cars.
It's fantastic.
74, that's O'Reilly coming to the line. Will he put the pole time even further into touch? He did he improve?
I don't think he did. I don't think there was much of an improvement there. The 98's next towards the line then at the moment. That is Daniel down in 24th in the Ferrari. He moves up to 23rd. Next driver is Dan Davis, obviously one of the admins and stewards here at SimPlay Motorsport, down towards the start line. Seeing what this man can do in the practice lobbies. He's 3/10 off the pole. What's he got in him? Oh! 37 thousandths of a second off the pole. And Vienna also sticking it a little close. No, sorry, it wasn't Vienna who was just crossed the line. It was the 14 of Overtaker who improved there.
P6 for Overtaker. But how close is this? And there's Tracy in chat.
Yeah, good evening to Tracy in the chat. Hope you are well. Jamal Clouden moves up to 11th within half a second. I think James might actually be willing to talk now. James, what car do you like the look of out there?
The Lexus.
And Dan Davis obviously driving the Lexus. And is it his or Michael Harris's that you like more? Dan's you like more. What is it you like about Dan? Obviously, you know Dan. What is it that you like about Dan? He's a pretty good driver, isn't he?
Most of the blue and the Switzerland flag.
There we go, then the Swiss flag on the front of Dan Davis's car, who is coming towards the final corner, the 95. James, it's a very close qualifying, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do we think to how close these lap times are? Anybody can take pole position, can't they?
Dan Davis was taking pole position. Lots of cars
They have.
more fast as well.
They are getting faster laps in. The 98 of Daniel's coming towards the line now. There goes Daniel to the line. Doesn't improve on that lap time. It is that man, Dan Davis, who's now coming towards the line. Needs very little here to go to pole position. He's currently sat in second place. Comes towards the line. Dan Davis, nothing there for him. 34 will be the next car across the line. And James, that is the other Lexus of Michael Harris. Here he goes, and in the red, white and black towards the line for the other Lexus. Can he get up the order? Goes to P9. Jamal Clouden in the Mercedes. He's in the pits. It's the 35 of Darren Yeo that I meant to be pressing on, not Jamal Clouden. He's down in 20th place. What can Darren Yeo do as he comes towards the start line now? Any improvement for Darren Yeo? Stays 20th. And look at that, James. Not even 1 second covers the top 21. That is close.
Yeah.
Gary Leach towards the line, 22nd place at the moment. Rounds the final corner. Obviously, James, you commentate on your Hot Wheels in your bedroom. Is this a bit different to that?
Loads
Are you enjoying it?
more.
Gary moves up to P20. Nervous?
Yes.
100%. Gary Leach moves up to 20th place. The 664 is next towards the line. Then at the moment, Ian McGowan, P7. Does he improve? He's 3/10 off the pole. Stays exactly where he is. Car 98. Phil, 9/10 separate the top 22. You couldn't have it any closer, could you?
No, at least it's still tenths of a second, not thousandths of a second, isn't it?
We've still got a bit more time for the drivers to get even closer at the moment. Sky Schundelmeyer, who is only 6/10 off the pole, comes towards the line in that pink and white Porsche of the BSP Racing Team. Can Sky Schundelmeyer on US soil come to the line and improve? Stays in 15th place. Next is car 34. That then is Michael Harris once again. He stays P9. We now await for the 998. That is Patrick Ledger in his light blue Ferrari that is going into the final corner now. 2/10 off the pole. Didn't look massively quick though, James, going into that final corner, did he?
No, but I do like his car.
You do like his car. The Ferrari 296 looking good in the light blue colours. Patrick Ledger tops the timing screens by 56 thousandths of a second. And Kieran O'Reilly has got to go again. So does Dan Davis. But Patrick Ledger, he said last night, don't put your money on me. I don't want to make a mistake. The commentator's curse is real. And he has just gone pole. That is absolutely fantastic. No improvement for Gary Leach. What about the 11 of Mike Matthews? He improves but stays 10th place. The 135 is now coming to life. James, you like that car? It's just gone pole position for the moment.
Yeah.
Matt Wright to the line, stays P19. 33 is coming up. That is Sebastian Wittrup. The Ferraris look a lot better tonight than what they did last night.
Yeah, a little bit. I can't remember who's driving Ferrari and put around.
I think Old Sim Racer was the better one of the set, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was what, 4th behind Sutty in the brilliant Bentley.
Micro J's in the chat saying that Jammy's doing a great job. So there we go. James is doing a good job. Michael Harris stays in P9, the 302 of Jamal Clouden in that Mercedes-Benz. Now, Phil, Jamal gets stronger and stronger every race too, but he has to sort out this race 1 and qualifying problem.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's still only 6/10 off, and look how tight the field is. Yeah.
But that is the problem, though, isn't it? In his McLaren, do you think he's up that order a little bit? Kieran O'Reilly, apologies, Skunky within 5 thousandths of a second. Here comes Clouden and Ben in the slipstream of each other. Ben is 16th, Clouden is 13th. They both stay where they are. The 11 of Mike Matthews is coming round once again. And James, we see how tight the touring cars qualifying is. Is this one a little bit more exciting than touring cars?
More exciting and more tighter.
Say that again, sorry?
More exciting and more tighter.
And who, if you had to guess at the moment, do you think is going to win this race, looking at all them names on that screen at the moment? Patrick Ledger is who James is tipping for the win. Sorry, Patrick, but the third commentator has just tipped you for the win.
We broke it at race 1 because I said Michael Eckhart.
Yeah, we did, actually. It's been broken. Yes, fair enough. Who's next towards the line? Dan Davis didn't improve that time around. By the way, the top 4 are within a 10th of each other. That is how tight that is. Daz is... where is Daz? Daz is 22nd. He's only 9/10 off the pole. Blackmore's only a second off the pole. Daniel and Blackmore are in the pits. Here comes Darren. Yo, can't find any more time there. The next car is the 95. And the 95 is that of Max Mulder. He stays in P9. 42 for Tim Ventink, his teammate, is coming up. The BSP Esports team in the Ferrari across the line. He stays P10. Next up is Overtaker. He's 3/10 off the pole. That may have invalidated his lap time. He was on an awful line coming through there. He's going to have one more chance to go again. Who's to the line now? That is Jamal Clouden once again coming to the line. Jamal Clouden, can he improve? No, he cannot. Phil, all these drivers done.
Oh, it's not over, so it's over.
Mike's just gone into 8th, by the way.
I think Blackmore and Daniel are done.
Yeah, they are
Everyone in
done.
the pits now are done. There is
a few names in that pit lane. Michael Eckhart, Pedro Viana. Michael Eckhart, winner of race 1, 13th place at the moment. And the 454, that then is the debutant of Julius Rasmussen. 2/10 off the pole. Does he find any more time? No, he doesn't. Dan Davis, I believe he is going to get one more lap in. So crucial time this now for Dan Davis. He's going to try and get one more lap in. Was he on a valid lap this time? No, he was not. Next up is Cloud. The next man on a valid lap is the 302. And that is Skunky, who needs 5 thousandths of a second. James, if you blink your eyes, you'll miss him at that close.
Should I blink my eyes?
blink your eyes away if you want to blink your eyes, James, but you will miss Skunky if he takes that pole
O'Reilly's
position.
done.
Place O'Reilly is into the pit lane, and Dan Davies currently sat P4. Here comes Skunky to the line. He'll get one more run. Has he done enough? He has!
Yes.
6 hundredths of a second. Skunky is into the 22 zeros and is putting on provisional pole at the moment. What a lap time from the young man. In GT4s, he didn't have it all his own way in the Ginetta the other night. Ben finishes qualifying, goes P9 in the car. What about Matt Matthews? He's gone up to P7, so he's improved. The 664 of McGowan goes into third place. That then is the 35 of Matt Wright. He goes up to 19th place. The 34 now of that of Michael Harris. Can Michael Harris improve at the moment? This is fantastic stuff. Half a second separate the top 13. Here comes Harris. Can he improve? No, he cannot. He is done. The 454 is done as well. That is Rasmussen. 131 of Gary Leach is also done. Here comes Dan Davis. Needs a 10th. What does he find in the locker? Goes pole! Dan Davis! 13,000th of a second. Provisional pole. Overtaker still on a lap. As is that of the 140. No, Benny's done. So it is just take a lap at James. Dan's gone pole.
Yay!
No bias in this commentary box, but I think James is happy with that one. Here comes Overtaker then towards the line. We've seen Dan take pole from Overtaker right at the end. Can Overtaker take it back? 0.3 of a second. Hold on to your eardrums, Phil, because here comes the Mustang. Not good enough. P6 for him. And that was fantastic, James. Thank you for joining us for commentary. We'll let you get back to doing what you was doing, but have you enjoyed that?
Yeah.
Would you do it again?
Yeah.
Well, thank you, James, for joining us. We'll let you get on with your evening.
Next week, James.
Sadly, he'll be at his mum's next week, so he's not going to be here to do the commentary. But James Duffin there, making his debut in qualifying. Chat, let's give him some appreciation. Let's give him a bit of a round of applause in the chat there. 9 years of age, commentates with his Hot Wheels in the car, in his bedroom, and it's just decided, he's just asked if he can come and have a go. I said, let's do qualifying with me and Phil. Nervous, nearly crying, but James Duffin there. Let's give him a round of applause. 9 years of age, making his debut in the commentary box here tonight. Oh, he forgot to say bye.
Bye, guys.
There we go. So he's joined us for qualifying, but Phil, what a qualifying. And I tell you what, you talk about Mr. Saturdays in the Formula One of George Russell back in the days of his Williams. How Dan Davis does this, and he's done it multiple times, I will never know. But Dan Davis does it again.
Huh? Can't hear now. I'm deaf. I've gone completely deaf now. What? Oh yeah. Oh Dan. Yeah. How does he do it? I don't know. But that's another point. Back in his favour, isn't it, with Paul?
And after that dreadful race one, it's a point he'll be absolutely loving.
Yeah, but I don't know who's going to win this. This is too close.
Just looking at the comments in the chat, great quality there. Round of applause for Rob Smith as well. Well done, James, says Gary Clarble. Great job, James, says Tracy Monkey Boy. Get James a headset on. Great job, and what a great quality. And guest commentator says Micro J. So James feeling the love there. Thank you, appreciate that one. That will really make his evening. Max Mulder, P11. Tim Venting, I'm just inputting the results, P12. Sebastian Wittrup, where was he? 60th. The thing is, Phil, you've seen these names at the top of the list, and then all of a sudden, a blink of the eye, and they're down the bottom end of the list. It was just so close.
It was too close. Macchiado's missed the start. He's in the pits.
Yeah, that's going to hurt him in this one. Then 24th for Max. Gary was 21st down the order. Darren Yo, 22nd. Team SPR not having the best of qualifying here. Sky Schundelmeyer was 17th place. Ben was down in 10th in qualifying. O'Reilly, where did he put it? P5 on the grid. Paolo was down in 20th place. No Max for crashing tonight, so we can mark that one with the black box to say not here. Overtaker then 6th place.
No, he's busy using Mexico, isn't he?
Skunky was 2nd place. Good qualifying for Skunky and for McGowan. Good results for them two in recent weeks. Jamal Cloud, and where was he? 15th. Wow, down the order. Diz is not here this week either, so we can give that one the black marker box. Blackmore was down, I believe, in 23rd. Yes, he was. Matt Wright was a little higher up the order in 19th. Echo, 14th place. Ledger, what a qualifying from him up the order in P4. That matches his best of P4 in his debut. Cosme not here this evening. Giggle also not here this evening. And then Rasmussen. What a debut he's having. We saw the debutant last night of Robert Ramsell, I believe it was. And then we're seeing the debutant here tonight. And again, another fantastic debut. But Phil, who's your money on?
Who have I got? Either got a curse or break a curse? I'm not saying. I can't. It's just too close. Far too close. No. If I have to say anyone now, I'm probably going to say Dan. Good. That makes me anyone.
I'm going the way of Skunky. I don't know. I just fancy that Ferrari tonight. Gaza, aka the old sim race. This is going to be good. Clean race, boys, and Hypertech as well. This is awesome. Top 30 in a pro. AMS was as close as anything, and the 22 drivers in pro also close. What a close season this is. Indeed, what a close season this is. They're going 2 by 2. And here they go. Poll has gone out for who you think is going to win the race. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm really looking forward to this one. Don't forget, hit the thumbs up button if you like what you see here. Hit that bell to be notified if you don't, so you don't miss anything. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are 8 subscribers away from that magic 800. 6 away from the magic 800. Also check out our fantastic sponsors, Design Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs and printed clothing, and much more, including SimPlay Motorsport merchandise. A link is in the description, as well as head over to Audio Sport manufacturer VW Transporter T4 Audio Solutions and Styling Products. Go to www.audiosport.co.uk. But it is green and go here for round 8 of the season and race 2, and already Dan Davis has got a good start over Skunky. Covers off the inside. Does Skunky then on that of Patrick Ledger? Down the order a little bit. We're seeing cars congested. Cloudon's already off. That's one of the BSP cars off as well, and round into the pack. That is not the start he'd have wanted. Machado can now get going, and he is slowly away. Gary Leach avoids a out of control BMW there of Wittrup. Manages to rejoin. I say rejoin, he wasn't really fully off the circuit, but manages to get back going. But already not the start for Max Mulder again. He's got to fight back, but Dan Davis did the start he needed to do.
Blackmore's off as well.
Yeah, he is. That's down. Yeah, he's just come through turn 4.
And of course, Machado, apparently his controls were locked up and he couldn't.
Justin Winter had that last night, wasn't allowing him to press drive, so not sure what that is. Sky to win, says Tracy in the chat. But at the minute, it's Dan from Skunky, from O'Reilly up to 3rd. Great start from him. Ledger's 4th from McGowan, then Overtaker. Rasmussen from Vienna. Then it's Mike, Ben, Tim Ventink, Harris, Eckholt, Clouden, Schundelmeyer, Matt Wright, Gary Leach, Wittrup, Paolo, Yo, Daniel, Max Mulder, Blackmore, and then Machado. But so far, so good. Who's the driver that's coming under pressure? Overtaker's gone around the outside. He's been tapped by that of Ledger. Oh, and rejoins right into the path of Mike and Ben.
Well, yeah, better go in, because we know Mike will put that in.
Well, he's now 3 wide, and there's Ben. Ben taps the back, and Overtaker's into the side of Max, and into the wall goes Taker and Ben. An Overtaker there, big, huge hit. He'll have to rejoin once again.
Ben, big damage as well.
And I think Overtaker's possibly going to return to the pit lane. He is stationary on the circuit at the moment. And he has. He's gone. He's gone.
Left the session. Right. Okay.
Well, that will be a disqualification, a DNF, and a retirement going into Monza, where the Mustang might be mighty. It could be a retirement.
Yeah, it could be a retirement. Oh.
So Dan Davis leads. Skunky sticking with him. That gap 0.6 of a second. Then it's O'Reilly from McGowan. Patrick Ledger, then Rasmussen and Pedro Viena. P7 then. Mike Matthews is P8 from Tim Ventink. Michael Harris P10. Clouden from that to that is Schundelmeyer now around at the top of the hill. And I think Wittrup tapped him there, and Schundelmeyer struggling to get away. Chaos coming out of the corkscrew there then. And he now goes side by side with his teammate Max Mulder. Oh, Mulder's round! Did Tibbs just tap Mulder?
Oh, is it BSP imploding?
I think Tibbs just tapped Max Mulder around here.
Meanwhile,
well.
second, Skunky fast slap.
Yeah, he's coming on, Dan. Dan's not having it his own way, is he?
No, Skunky's got him with him. I'd be interested to see who changes tyres and what fuel loads people have put in again.
Yeah, the strategy is going to be very interesting to see. That is one thing that's going to be key. Also, I do think that, what will O'Reilly's thought pattern be at the moment? Because he come onto the back of Dan last week, let's not forget. So can he do it again?
Indeed. Starting had help with what to do strategy-wise last night. Me.
Well, here we go then, up towards the corkscrew once again. Dan Davis under pressure from Skunky. But obviously nothing's going to happen at the corkscrew. You're not going to make that move up there. You're just not going to do it. And so far Dan Davis comes through out the corkscrew as the leader. Rob Smith, never understand not finishing the race. We all have horrible situations, but it's still points plus the fun of racing as well. And this is why, Rob, we brought in the fact of the qualifying ban to encourage drivers to try and stay to the end of the race. Skunky putting down under immense pressure. Ledge is trying to gain on McGowan. He's got Rasmussen with him. Rasmussen's had a good debut. Pedro Vienna's got Mike Mathews for company. Pedro just dropped a wheel into the gravel here, so Mike might fancy a bit of a run down towards turn 1 and 2 into the Andretti hairpin. Thank you, Phil.
That's the only one I can remember about the corkscrew and the Rahal straight.
And the kink is just before the corkscrew. Tim Ventic's down in 9th. 6/10 Gary Leach is off the back of Wittrup. We've got Schundelmeyer on the back of Darren Yo. That is for 15th and 16th place. Daniel is then P18 on the back of Paolo. Max Mulder's trying to get onto the back of Matt Wright. Blackmore's close to the back of him. Ben, after that incident, is behind Machado now. He's only 10 seconds off the pack already. But Dan Davis being kept honest here by that of Skunky.
Yes, Skunky. Lexus versus Ferrari. Well, top three is three different manufacturers. We'd love to see that again. There is a help Ferrari in the manufacturers. Championship against. Who's leading?
BMW at the moment are leading. Obviously, there's less BMWs out there tonight than what there is, but obviously a couple of BMWs on that GT4 grid that then bump up their stuff, as well as a few more in Pro-Am. Skunky keeping Dan honest. O'Reilly's looks like he's closing slowly.
I think he is.
The gap was 1.168. It's 1.3. So he's just on the fastest lap, but also lost 2/10. So work that one out. But either way.
It might have been faster in the other two sectors.
Mike Mathews, who was he behind? In fact, there we go. He's dropped down the order. So Mike Mathews has, at a moment, he's dropped down to 19th. No, he's dropped down to, in fact, yeah, Darren Yo's also lost out to Blackmore. So I'm not sure what has happened to Mike Mathews, but he's dropped right down the order. Then Gary Leach is still gaining on the back of Wittrup. Rob, this is why I carried on last night. Only difference, I was 2 laps down. Skunky and Dan battle shaping up to be a classic early days, but it will be close. Could Phil not go on the replay to see the fuel levels? No, Kevin, it doesn't show us the fuel levels on replays or anything, so we can't do that. Plus, I don't want to say, like, even if we watch drivers' streams, I'd rather we can know in the box, but I don't want to broadcast that in case other people are listening. I feel that kind of gives the strategy away, Phil.
Yeah, it does. Well, that's effectively stream sniping, isn't it? So.
Gary's close to the back of Wittrup here. Oh no, was that was dancing through the corkscrew. He's managed to keep it together. And speaking of an all-time classic, well, there's Skunky on the back of Dan. Let's keep an eye down into the Andretti hairpin.
This is where the Lexus will be stronger though, because this is a bit more straight, with a kinky bit in the middle.
O'Reilly's dropped down the order. Sorry, Phil. O'Reilly is 8th.
Has he lost it?
He's had a moment somewhere. Yeah, he's definitely had a moment on his own. Dan's just dropped a wheel into the gravel. He's set the fastest lap. Now let's see here then. This is no longer where the longer straights are, so Dan can't get it into that 6th gear. So this might be where Skunky's best chances are of getting closer to the back of Dan.
Yep. Well, next week though, we're at Monza.
Yeah, there's been weather lurking around though, so that's going to be the interesting one. See what the weather's going to do.
It'll be the first wet weather we've had this season.
It would be, yeah. If we get some weather, it will be the first. No, GT4's had a bit of rain, I believe, at Misano. That was like a mixed race. So, but the GT3s haven't had a dabble of rain, I don't believe.
And then after that, Snetterton, so there's got to be a lot there.
Snetterton's probably, yeah. You watch, it'll only be the 3 British tracks and Suzuka. Obviously.
And Suzuka will probably be underwater.
So Dan Davis here keeps hold of his lead. Patrick Ledger trying to get back to close to the back of McGowan. Vienna's P6. Hey, yeah, I know what you're going to say. What a debut.
What a debut. Contender as well.
Massive.
Definitely a contender.
I gave the contender to the debutant last night. I thought his 9th and 10th was 2 good results. You know, in such a close field to come straight in and race clean and fair was brilliant.
Look how close Pro is. Unbelievably close.
Yeah, exactly. Look how close Pro is, and this is going to be interesting. I've just realised I've not actually added Rasmussen's points onto the PlayStation bit, so we'll get them on. That puts that up to a little bit closer. O'Reilly's on the back now with Tim Ventick. Tim's having a cracking night, can we just say?
He is, isn't he? He missed last week, didn't he?
Yep.
His other commitments. So that's his drop score. That'd be Tim's drop score, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be Tim's drop score. So any points now, and what a way to come back here as O'Reilly's hunting down the back of Tim. You've got Clouden, who's not looked massively strong so far. Maybe that Mercedes is going to grow into it with Harris and Eckel. Bit of a gap back to Whitrup.
Stronger than Monza though from Mercedes.
Yeah, might be.
It's more horsepower.
Yeah, might be. You're completely right. Matt Wright is down in 16th. He's trying to gain on the back of Daniel. We've got Darren Yeo who's trying to hunt down on the back of Edward Blackmore. Not the night for Darren Yeo so far. Ben's trying to get onto the back of Machado once again. O'Reilly, though, closer to Tim Ventink, who's made a mistake. Coming through the right-hander and loses not one but 2. He's tapped the back of Clouden.
That's a brake marker flying, then.
Has he? I think he's let Clouden go. Yes, he has. And in letting Clouden go, he's actually halted Michael Harris's progress. And who caught the brake marker, Phil? Did you see?
It looked like it came off Tim's car. So maybe it might have been thrown out earlier in the race.
Yeah, possibly. We'll have to keep an eye on that as Michael Harris just dropping a wheel onto the gravel. Cox tried to... sorry, onto the dirt. Yeah, exactly.
Like some games where you hit one of them and they don't break up and they completely total your car.
Project Cars too. Matt Wright gaining on the back of Daniel.
Gran Turismo 5 at Monza.
That's the bonus of Alton Park on this game. The tyre walls move.
Yeah, they do. How long will it be before they're pushed away from the edge of the chicane? Same with Donny.
Yeah, practice. Before we even go live, they won't be there. I'm going to tip my hat to Skunky at the moment, by the way. He is keeping the pressure on Dan Davis here.
Yeah, they've dropped McGowan, but of course O'Reilly was there, but he's had a problem. And mishap. I tell you, I think Jamie needs to replace him. He did a much better job. I think the fans will love Jamie more.
Julius Rasmussen. He is on the back here on his debut of Patrick Ledger and McGowan. Could be a debutant podium. What a drive this could be for Rasmussen here, who I can tell you, the debutant last night is from England. Rasmussen is another Danish driver that we have on the grid. So we've got a few Danes on the grid.
Good fight. And Lurpak. Really like Lurpak.
What's Rasmussen going to be able to do? Skunky's took the fastest lap from Dan Davis. Look, he's within 2/10. Gone a little wider than Dan there. That's not going to hurt him too much. Skunky's coming, Phil.
He is coming, and I'm watching this battle as they dip down the corkscrew. I'm on cameras too, by the way, so you can see the corkscrew a lot better. He's having a look.
Yeah, we've just jumped on board him. Dan had a bit of a twitch coming down on the rear end, coming through the corkscrew there. Skunky got mighty close, and Dan Davis, well, Skunky's bringing himself into this championship. Let's go NRT, says Sammy in the chat. Can you do a quick summary of the drop scores? Is it a race within an event or the whole event that is dropped? It is the whole week, so your lowest score from that week is dropped. If you want more information, please drop me a DM on Discord. I'm happy to talk about it on there, but the whole round is dropped, so one whole week effectively is not counted. So if you miss a week, your drop score will be 0, but that obviously doesn't always help you, Phil.
No, it doesn't, because you could have a console issue, you can have a wheel issue which puts you out because you've got to leave the lobby, you come back in and reset up.
Exactly.
Project Cars 2 used to be the same, didn't it?
Yep. Yeah, we used to have it on Project Cars 2, and it's only up until week 10. So Alton Park and Donington Park, unless we have another moment like COTA last year where we had to give half points. Alton Park and Donington Park will not count towards the drop scores, the drop rounds. That will be week 10 is the final round of drop. So if your worst score is after is Alton Park or Donington, then that is unfortunate for yourself. Oh, Skunky having a look, sorry.
He had a look, but Dan covered him off. It's just 4. Donington and Alton are both in December.
Yes.
It's not just going to be wet.
No.
It's going to be barely above freezing.
Yes. Oh, Harris into the wall. I didn't see what happened there. I was watching. Oh, Schundelmeyer's caught him. And I think that's put Gary in the gravel. Gonna look back on the stream, but Harris, big time into the wall. He's staying stationary at the moment.
He's doing the right thing.
Yeah, he's gone to the gravel now. Rejoins on the outside of the circuit. Ben's got past Machado, so that's another place for everybody. That's huge damage for Harris. Skunky right on the back of Dan. Yeah, Witrup dies up the inside. I'm looking now.
Yeah.
Drops down.
Spun him round.
Yeah. That'll be one for the stewards, I'm sure.
0.2 of a second for the lead.
Yeah, on board Skunky at the moment. Looking on the back through the kink, on the outside of the kink. Great camera angle, camera set too. Why aren't they the main camera set? Them angles are so much better.
But they reset when cars go in the pits.
In the pits, yeah. This is why I try to not view people in the pits. Down through the corkscrew. Skunky's gained through the corkscrew into the left-hand bend now. Not close enough to stick a nose up the inside. That's where Dan's gaining a bit of momentum. Dan seems to be slower than Skunky through the corkscrew, but it's that difficult a corner that you can't get past.
Skunky's wide and...
That's the break Dan's going to need.
Lost a little bit down the straight, but now for the main start-finish straight.
Whoa, Tim Ventink. Easy boy as he catches hold of the prancing horse there then. Coming through the penultimate corner there. Jeez, honestly, that looked like it was a little loose. Here comes Gary Leach then. Porsche v Porsche. I love the sound of the Porsches on this game. Love the sound of these Porsches.
I love the sound of the Porsches in general.
Mathew Duffin in the chat. He's not Mathew Duffin because that is me. That is James. Dad, I'm watching your stream. Oh, that's a bad crash. Have fun. Thank you, James. There was a lot of a round of applause for you earlier. So good job. Gary Leach then. Phil, me and you go to touring cars. We watch the Porsche Carreras go round. That is so true sounding to the Carreras, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you remember the RSR, what used to be in WEC with GTE car. Oh, what a noise that makes as well.
Gary Leach was looking around the outside. Sorry, Phil. Gary Leach was looking around the outside of turn 3 on Sky. Both drop a wheel on the exit there. That looks like a bit of a slow Eckholt. He's lost out to Vienna, and Wittrup has he had a moment on the outside of 4. Well, let's wait and see then. He was definitely slow as the camera panned around, but I can't see any damage.
I can't see any damage either. Here's a race up. What we should do in the off-season over Christmas. V12 Astons and the Porsches.
And do you know what? Chuck the Mustang in there. I do like the Mustang sound.
And to be honest, the Lambo sounds nice when it's on full chat as well. Yeah. So
I do like them sounds. Here comes Machado looking on the outside of Darren Yeo. Darren Yeo's got a bit of damage on the front of his Ferrari. Goes a little deep. Machado, thank you, Mama, for the carrots. First one of the evening. Skunky 7/10 off the back. Patrick Ledger really applying some pressure to the back of Ian McGowan here then. Dropping down to Clouden, who's trying to get on the back of Wittrup. And Gary Leach now has lost out a little bit. In fact, has lost out 2 seconds to Schundelmeyer. So something's happened to Gary Leach last lap. And Daniel's on the back of him now by a 10th.
Yeah. Also, I've got Ledger and McGowan. They're nice and close between the darker blue Ferrari and the sky blue Ferrari. Oh, Ledger's having a look.
He's had a bit of a look there. Oh no, sorry, I'm watching the wrong battle. There was another look up here. Let's go towards Ledger and McGowan then. There's Jacob Blackensop in the chat. Paw driving from Sebastian. He said in there. I'm sure that one will be looked at by the stewards.
Yeah, cracking a little battle between the... Oh. Actually, though, all these Ferrari drivers are buoyed by Ferrari's excellent coat.
Phil. I'm not giving anything away on the stream. Check your Discord.
I'll check my Discord. I will mute while I check it.
There we go. So dropping back down the order. Mike Matthews trying to gain on Wright, who's trying to gain on Daniel, who's trying to gain on Gary, but Gary looks like he started to pull away a little bit. Sky's closer to Eccles. Ledger's dropped off the back a little bit more again. Darren Yeo's got past Edward Blackmore here.
Second sec, just got to check something.
And Edward Blackmore at the moment doing a fine job. Rob Smith, McGowan needs to back the pack up to give Skunky a free pit stop. Possibly so, you know. I like that tactic from you there, Rob Smith. It depends on what they're going to do. They both drop a wheel over the curb, so that's not going to help either of them. But yeah, I like your thinking there. 7.2 seconds. The gap. Skunky's got Dan! Dan's lost 2.8 seconds somewhere.
He has. Ooh. And yes, very interesting.
Yes, very interesting, right? Dan Davis has lost 2.8 seconds. I don't know where.
I don't know where.
Skunky, though, there's no damage on that car.
There's no damage on the Lexus, is there?
Well, that is interesting. I didn't even see a yellow flag. So I'm not sure what's happened there, but at the minute, Patrick Ledger, the man who's trying to put pressure on McGowan so far. Sky's trying to get close to the back of Eccles. Gary started to pull away from that. Matt Wright gaining on Daniel. We've then got Ben, who's gaining on Sebastian Wittrup, and we got Paolo, who was 4 tenths behind. He's no longer. Ben, though, trying to look to make a move. Can't do so at the moment. Sebastian Wittrup goes a little wide on exit. Now comes Ben. Doesn't think of doing it there, though. Machado's looking on the back of Paolo as well. What a race this has been so far.
Yeah. I wonder if what you just said has happened. And that's gone. Something. Meanwhile, Sky's got a little bit of front damage. Gary's car looks pretty clean still.
And Matt Wright is trying to get all on the back of Daniel while we're looking down that part of the order.
But his what bit of damage on the front of his Monster Energy coloured Ferrari.
Oh God, we found another Monster Energy coloured car.
It's definitely Monster coloured. If it's not Monster coloured, it's Xbox. So.
LRT Sammy, let's go Big Machado. Well, he's got to have a big drive here. Wouldn't let him press drive, sadly. And we know that's been a common glitch at the moment.
We've had that glitch for years, even on the PS4 version, hasn't it? Well, at least Hobotech hasn't got Monster Energy colour cars now. Probably
Patrick Legier, by the way, has passed McGowan. 0.02 of a second that gap is. And I've just seen that he's passed McGowan, and Rasmussen is there as well. So we didn't see that one happen.
Let's see, are they closing in on Dan? 4.5 seconds.
I don't know, Dan's not really gained much. Whatever has happened to Dan, something's happened to him because he's made a mistake. I wonder if he's just overcooked them tyres. Track temp is 25. It's one of the hottest tracks we've had so far this season.
Bearing in mind, most of our races, apart from Kyle Army, are in the north, and Bathurst, are in the northern hemisphere. And we're now in our late autumn, heading towards winter.
Yeah. Oh, Shuttlemeyer's round. Exit of turn 4. Keeps it still. Everybody avoids him. And he does exactly what he needs to do and rejoins the circuit now. So Schundlemeyer down the order. Ben has got a lot of damage and is about to get grounded if he keeps shouting at others, he says in the chat. So, Chris, you've still got to let Ben race, though. Even though he's grounded, he's allowed to race. That's got to be the deal. Yeah. We had that once. Keegs got grounded. Wasn't allowed to do a race by Welshie.
Can you remember that one of them endurance races you did with Keegs and Daz?
Well, his mum was moaning about the wires
outside. Yeah,
and Welshie ended up chopping through the internet cable. Yeah, because Keegs obviously lives in the loft, doesn't he? They've had the loft converted, and Keegs is in the loft, and yeah, that was brilliant. Either way, Julius Rasmussen 6 tenths off the back of McGowan.
McGowan's dropped pace, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Because Ledger's dropping him.
Yeah, he has dropped pace.
Rasmussen, all levels are sideways in. You're in a Ferrari, not a Stratos.
Matt Wright's going up the inside here of that of Daniel. Door might be open for Mike Matthews, you know, to jump up the inside. 3 Ferraris, all having a different battle. White, black and green. White, red and black. And blue and green. All having their own little fight here. And what a little fight it has been between the three. Good stuff between them three so far. Mike Matthews now trying to stay to the back of these as good as he can.
Yes, we relate to the shouting at others as well, don't we, Matthew?
Nope.
But it's not broadcastable what you say on your streams here, is it?
And if you want to find out what it is said, get to the Gaming Watchman 5 on Twitch, because you'll have a good giggle. Ben is about to go to the garage and set his stuff up out there. According to Sky, I'm not allowed to ground him anymore now that he's 18. There we go. That's why I can't have a mic when streaming. Be banned from Twitch in one race. Rob? I think I've came close a few times. I think I've came close a few times.
We're down. Other people down. Some of the things we say.
We're down the order watching Mike Matthews and Daniel. Matt Wright has got past the start to pull away. Mike just hasn't looked like he's got the pace. I was saying that. Everybody else is that matched here that he might have the pace, he just can't get close enough.
Yeah, because the field's so tight. It's fantastic, really.
Oh, it's providing some great racing, Phil, isn't it? Let's be honest. It is providing some belters.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's what we need, because we've had a few seasons that have been quite stale.
You get into the hour race, you start to just kind of like chatter. I mean, I know we've just chatted.
Pit window's about open, by the way.
Oh, there we go. And that's the thing, is it's flown by, hasn't it? We've had streams before where we're like, you know, I know we've just gone off topic a little bit there, chatting about streams and you know, shouting on streams. But, you know, there's nothing happening in this race. There's still fights going on everywhere we look at the moment. There we go. The pit window now open. So Ledger, Rasmussen, O'Reilly's missed it. Tim Venting could be the first car. He stays out. Vienna stays out. What about Michael Eckholt? He's also going to stay out. Gary Leach.
He did think about it.
Yeah, Clouden's in. Wright stays out.
Away.
Daniel stays out. Mike Matthews comes in, so they're straight into the pits. They're not messing. Max Mulder goes off track a little bit. He stays out. Ben's got damage. Stays out. Sky stays out. What about Blackmore? And I thought Ben would have pitted if he's got damage.
And then again, though, I shout out other users.
33's at a moment. Wittrup is down the back of the pack. In fact, Wittrup, I think, has just returned to the pit lane. No, Wittrup, I think, has left the lobby. So that is another retirement.
The ticket that's been opened needs to have him added.
I'm sure Hypertech, who's watching, will keep our eyes on that. Machado is already at the start straight, so I'm not sure what's happened there. But Darren Yeo down the back of the pack. Rasmussen gaining again on the back of McGowan here.
Yeah, Cloudon's stop is done. So is Mike. Mike has jumped Cloudon.
Yeah, good stop for Mike. Cloudon obviously probably went a little longer, so that could be a double qualifying ban next week, and one for Wittrup and one for Overtaker then at Monza. Probably the one track you don't want a qualifying ban is Monza.
Especially
apparently Sebastian's made contact with Harris again, so that's why Harris was a little further back, is what is being said in the chat.
I've still got that saved on my Twitch, that move that De Silva did to Fury. What a move.
If you want a good you want to watch a good stream at Monza, go back to season 1 on the playlist of Project Cars 2. The very end of race 2, Gary Leach drives round the outside of AH, going back a while AH, but AH, what a move that was. Myself and Andy was on comms and we went absolutely ballistic. Daniel's done in the pits, he's going to jump Gary Leach in. So where's Mike Matthews? He was racing Daniel, wasn't he? So let's see where Mike Matthews is. Daniel's now away. Has he repaired a bit of damage possibly? Because Daniel looks like he's out before him.
Paolo Maciano's gone past. I can't.
Yeah, Daniel's out.
He's out, but he's still got to go around the pit lane correctly, haven't he?
Yeah, but he's up to speed. He can be up to speed though. Look where Mike is. Mike's only just come over the crest of the hill. Gary's only just come off his limiter. Schundelmeyer's it's still in the pits. Yeah, there you go. Look, Daniel, corner ahead of Mike Matthews. So great stop from Daniel there. Dan's got the gap back down to 1.2. So Dan's coming back at Skunky.
Yep, Dan's pushing. Best time to capitalise on points, because with Overtaker now not scoring, because even if he come back, he won't have done 75% of the race.
Yep, that's right. So, looking at the drop scores as well, what was Overtaker's drop round? That was...
someone's around, coins around, wrong way round on stop. He's stationary on the... Yeah, he's the wrong way round. He must have
where's
touched
that?
the curb.
That's possibly at the kink, yeah. Overtaker's drop score was 29 points. He's only scored 24 tonight, so he's only going to gain 5 points. At the minute, Dan drop score is 97. Shows how consistent Dan's been so far this season, so he's in for a big one. Rasmussen on the back of McGowan once again, though, here, Phil.
Yeah, hang on, I've got to sort of change cameras again, because I looked at people going into the pits.
I'll tell you what Ferrari's having a good night tonight.
Yeah,
a lot of them at the sharp end.
You think 2 of them last week at Corsa?
Oh! Here's one for you, by the way. Speaking of Rob Smith in the chat, Richard Beasley, evening, guys. Still no luck with getting my Xbox gamer tag account back. Richard, that is so unlucky, man. Hopefully you can get that sorted as soon as possible, dude. Speaking of Rob Smith, though, right? I asked the question on stream last night, why do you race the old Ferrari 488 Evo? On stream, he messaged me today asking if it was me asking. I got a reply. At the start of each season, he puts all the cars, apart from the Retia and the Audi, in GT3, and he doesn't put the GT4 in a hat. Pulls out the car. The first one he draws is the car he's driving for that season. I love that. I think that's brilliant. Yeah. Dan did it tonight. First car he pulled out was the Honda NSX Evo. Just want to point out. So Tim Ventic's missed his pits box. Kieran O'Reilly is done. Where's Matt Wright then? Leader on the pits. At the moment, O'Reilly's away. Skunky's obviously in and done. So Dan Davis free to lead this race once again. Halfway through this race, the pole went the way of Dan Davis. And with Tim Ventic missing his pit box, he's just come off his pit limiter now. I think he's going to stay well in front of Matt Wright. Matt Wright and Daniel, by the way, pulled well clear of Mike Matthews, who's just got past Michael Harris.
Yeah, well, Harris is struggling with probably quite a lot of damage.
Yeah.
On his Lexus. So Dan now leads by 5 seconds. He's now gone down, stuck in a straight line. Ledger's now in, as is McGowan. Skunky's just gone through the corkscrew, so...
Yeah, currently watching Skunky's. He's close to the back of Eckholt. I wonder if Eckholt's going to bail to the pit lane to maybe... Well, Ian McGowan's done, and Eckholt stayed out. Oh, I tell you what, let's go to the helicopter camera, because that one doesn't change when you're in the pits. McGowan's away. Let's keep our eyes on where Skunky is as he comes past. There's Eckholt. There's Skunky. Through he goes. Nice and easy. Where's O'Reilly? Nowhere near. So through goes Skunky. Then he stays in that net lead of this race. But Dan's going to try and do the overcut here and go long. Ledger leaving the pits now. O'Reilly's only just coming down the start line. Tim Ventic's up there, as is Matt Wright. Daniel. Then Mike Matthews trying to hunt them back down. Harris is sticking to Mike. Schundelmeyer's down in 21st after his pit stop. Mike Smulder 20th. And Darren Yeo. Not a night for Darren Yeo in this second race.
You still listen, no, in terms of second or fastest time or something like that. And
yeah,
another circuit that could be second on the grid.
Yeah, exactly.
Or no, previous season anyway. So that's just shows how competitive Pro's got.
It has, yeah, indeed it has. So we've got Skunky behind Eckholt at the minute. We've got McGowan behind Ben. McGowan stayed with just over a second ahead of Rasmussen. So they stayed pretty much as they was, didn't they? Have they jumped Ledger, though? Ledger was P3, was he not?
He was P3.
He's now behind
Ledger got in front of McGowan, didn't he?
Yeah, so Ledger was P3. Dan's in the pits. Dan stops done. Vienna's in the pits as well.
So it's Eckholt pit. No, Eckholt carries on for one more lap.
Let's go to that helicopter shot. Where's Dan Davis? Can we see him at this moment? There he is. And Skunky flies past. So through he goes. Will Dan Davis maybe get that lead of this race? Obviously he has that underline on Skunky. Nope, Skunky through. Back into the lead of this race. So Dan Davis has gone a little longer. He looks a little closer, though.
Well, at the moment, until he's made his pit stop, Eckholt leads this race.
There you go. Look, Dan Davis 6/10. It was over a second, but when Skunky pitted. So Dan Davis close enough to Skunky, and Skunky's got to deal with Eckholt, who he's close to. Rasmussen on the back of McGowan. They've both jumped ledger then. O'Reilly's on trying to get close to the back of him. Ben's still in the pits. Mike's going to get past Ben. Harris still to pit as well. Will Clouden get past Ben? Clouden's got damage on the front of that Mercedes. Clouden will. As will Gary Leach, I do believe. Oh, this might be tight with Gary and Ben coming through turn 1, actually. Oh.
That's Max Mulder slow up the...
I think Gary's just had a disconnection.
Oh, no.
He was just coming over the brow of the hill. And he's gone. Gary Leach. That's another disconnection. It happened on Tuesday. His internet is just letting him down in races at the moment.
Eckholt's in.
So Eckholt comes into the pits, freeing the two leaders of Skunky and Dan. There they are. They're about to lap Darren Yeo, who has got past Machado in the pits, and he's got past Max Mulder. Max Mulder back into the pit lane then.
He was off from the King on the Rahal straight into Corkscrew.
Yeah, he's got damage. He's got damage.
He might have went for a loop-de-loop.
So them two into the pits. Harris is going to have to pit the end of this lap as well. The 11's off. Mike Mathews off at the Corkscrew. He's in the wall. Gary Leach is back in. And Mike Mathews has been off then.
He's got to be saying.
Yeah, he's not going to be very happy. He normally likes Laguna Seca.
Right, Harris is now in.
Skunky's pulled away from Dan once again. That gap's over a second. Eckholt's done. Harris is now in. I'm telling you what, Darren Yeo might pick up that place of Harris. Harris is actually done, so maybe not.
Right, Daz, Skunky's right behind Daz now, so there'll be a blue flag somewhere as the pit window now is shut, so we've got 25 minutes of more racing to entertain us all. And are we not entertained?
Oh, Darren's wide, stays off the track to allow Skunky through. Yeah, I've been thoroughly entertained. 25 minutes left in this one. And Rasmussen at the moment.
Max, stop-go penalty for speed in the pit lane.
Well, that's going to help Gary out. So Max Mulder.
I think Gary's already in front of him.
I'll have to see when we come to the sector times, but that'll help Gary out nonetheless because he's got to wait for that timer to re-tick down and go again. Rasmussen nearly into the back of McGowan there. Let's go on board with him.
He's getting lost in it. It's not hard. Oh. No, Gary. Well, we should help Gary anyway once he's 2-minute timers. But that's a lap and a half around here.
Ben's on the back of Clouden. He's got Mike Mathews with him.
Track temp's gone up to 26, by the way. So it is getting warmer out there.
Getting warmer.
As we go to Italy next week. Return to Italy after a week, 2 weeks. Was it 2 weeks, Mazzano?
It was week 2, wasn't it? So yeah.
Yeah. A couple of weeks away, and we head back to Italy, and then we have our first British track at Netterton. I don't know who picked that. I do know who picked that. Yeah, and I can't remember. Because that's the halfway point through the season.
I think
as well.
after Snetterton it's either Valencia or Barcelona. Mike Mathews, though, is having a look on Ben towards the corkscrew. It's definitely a Spanish double-header. In fact, I can go through the calendar now.
Mike's definitely got a little bit of scuffs on his car.
So Monza next week, the 7th of November, Snetterton. The 14th of November, we head to Catalonia. 21st of November is Valencia. That's an early morning race as well. 28th of November, Suzuka. 5th of December, yours truly's birthday, is the Circuit of the Americas. 12th of December, Alton Park. And the 19th of December is then that of Donington Park.
Where it's going to be wet, cold. Max, as I believe, car 95 is stationary at the top of the hill again.
Yeah, he's had a moment up the kink. He's rejoining now. So Max Mulder's had yet another moment. I think he's kept it out the wall, but he's not having a good race so far. Again, kind of like Mizzano. When it's gone wrong, it's gone very wrong.
It has, and yeah, he had such a strong Bathurst.
Yeah, he did. He did. He had a really good Bathurst. And he didn't have a bad last week. And you just see this Ferrari just looking a little twitchy through these corners then. Is he going to come in for that stop-go penalty? No, possibly so. And he comes for that stop-go penalty now. Back to this Ben Clouden and Mike Matthews fight.
And another fight that's brewing lovely is Dan's within a second of Skunky again. And meanwhile, we've got McGowan and Rasmussen very, very close as well.
Yeah, you keep an eye on that. I'm just going to watch this three-way fight at the moment. As this is going to try and develop. Max Mulder's in for that stop-go, so Gary's going to hopefully be able to try and come round and catch him. It's going to be hard, though. What is the loss here for that stop-go penalty? Basically a loss for tyre change, 56 seconds. We'll wait and see. Rob Smith, snow at Donington. It's a shame snow's not on the game like Project Cars 2, because it potentially could be snowing at Donington.
Oh, Project Cars 1 had snow as well, didn't it?
He did, yeah. Mike Matthews was looking up the inside of Ben. Then let's go on to that Rasmussen fight. Dan's back within 6/10, by the way. Max Mulder's out the pitch. Gary Leach has gone through, so Gary Leach up another place, even with that disconnection. Rasmussen, as McGowan just drops a wheel on the grass. Rasmussen looking up the inside. Can't get it done there. They're coming up to... Oh, he has. He's got the undercut. He's got the up and under. Tries to get the exit out of the final corner there, side by side down the start-finish straight. Here comes Julius Rasmussen. We'll have that inside line in towards Andretti Hairpin. Gets the move done before Andretti Hairpin.
Also, Ledger and O'Reilly are close.
And O'Reilly's going to want this for some points. Obviously, Dan's probably looking at a drop score today.
And then there's a massive gap of 13 seconds to Vienna.
Yeah, and I was just about to say that with Rasmussen and McGowan, they're gaining on the back of the fight between Darren Yeo and Machado that is developing. Going to drop back down to that Cloud and Ben and Mike fight. That's now got Eckholt on the back of it. And Mike Matthews has cleared Ben. So Mike's got ahead of Ben, and Ben's now got Eckholt for company.
Wow. Our reigning pro champion.
Oh, Eckholt dive run up the inside. Day late, dollar short. Ben sees it coming, tucks back underneath. Gets that one back. Don't forget, if you like what you see here, hit that thumbs up button and the bell to be notified when we go live. And we were 6 subscribers away from 800 before the night. See how close we are at the end of it. But please hit that big red subscribe button. We are so close to that magic 1,000 mark. And if you want to see more SimPlay Motorsport action, make sure you join Dan Davis back in the box next week for commentary, 8 p.m. GMT. There is no +1, I don't believe, because the clocks go back the hour on Sunday. So just 8 p.m. GMT. As well as joining myself and Dan Davis back live next Thursday for Pro Am. And myself and possibly another special guest commentator as Phil's away for Pro next Thursday evening. On Halloween night as well. So, you know, plenty of tricks and maybe treats in store next Thursday.
I wish it was for trick or treat with the niece and nephew I really do. But hey ho.
Ledger drips a wheel onto the gravel. And here comes O'Reilly. He's patient.
I hope one of the last major update for this game, if it is the last one, they bring the 2024 version of the Aston in.
Yeah, and the Corvette. The 81's had a moment, by the way. That's Paolo's dropped down the order. He's only just rejoined in front of these. Get the Corvette in the game as well.
Just the Corvette race in World Challenge.
It's in the American one. Why not get it in? You know, if you're going to do one last update, get it in. I also know that there is a Lexus that's been testing at Spa behind closed doors for the GT3s.
I think there's an Evo of the M4 as well.
There is an Evo coming. That's coming next year in the real world. As O'Reilly's looking up the inside, gets a great run, bit of hip and shoulder,
bit of contact there,
and a great move there from O'Reilly, but a little bit of contact on the exit of the corner. O'Reilly's up to P4. Mike Matthews now close to the back of Jamal Cloud. Jamal's Mercedes just hasn't had the pace today, Phil.
Nah, it's hard to say what's going on. And really, maybe he's just not gelling with the Merc at all.
No, maybe it doesn't just gel around this circuit, like you say.
Well, we've got a nice horsepower circuit
Yeah,
next
we
week.
have.
So,
Looking forward to that.
and if it's wet, and it help with your max ballast in GT4.
Cloud as well. Funny story about that. I'll tell you off air. I'm not going to share my secrets away at the moment. But Mathew's looking racy on the back of Jamal Clouden. SimPlay Racing looking for a third Constructors' Championship in a row. Mike Mathew's going to want to contribute a bit more to that as well. Mike Mathew's trying to get the up and under. He'll be on the outside for turn 3. Doesn't get the move done. Trying to look maybe then at turn 4. No, Clouden already covers that one off. Through turn 4 they go. Little twitch from Mike there. Let's go on board with Mike Mathews' car. And he pulls to the inside line now at 5. Clouden parks it in the road. Can Mike Mathews go up the inside? No, brakes earlier. Thinks better of it. Clouden runs a little deep. Mike's going to get the run up towards the kink. They're side by side. Coming into the kink now. Ben and Eckholt's with them. Mike Mathews on that inside line. Clouden out wide he goes and loses not 1, not 2, but 3 places there. And now Ben is putting pressure on Mike Mathews.
Cool. Intense battling. So, up to the leads around a second for anyone who wants. Rasmussen has not dropped McGowan.
They are very evenly matched, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah. And you've got the lap car, I believe it's Macchiato, keeping them company. And showing what might have been if his game actually readied up in time. Max is only 3 seconds behind Gary. For the last of the runners.
Oh, Ben to the outside of Mike. Eckholt nearly into the back. Whew. This has been a good three-way fight. You know, Clouden's been in it as well. This has been going for a little bit. We've got like 50, just under 50 minutes, Phil. So still anything can happen here.
So I hope everyone's hit that like button and to see more next week. As everyone heads to Monza and the Temple of Speed.
Yeah. Looking forward to that one. Really, I'm looking forward to that one. Up the hill they come.
Well, Ledger's... I think Ledger's made a mistake somewhere because he's now dropped right off the back of O'Reilly. He has.
He has a little bit, hasn't he? And where is he? 3.4 to Vienna is Ledger now.
Vienna's got quite a bit of damage on the front of his car, though.
Let's take a look at Vienna. Where is Ledger? Yeah, 11 seconds behind O'Reilly now. So Ledger's definitely made a mistake, hasn't he?
That right?
This happened to him, though, at Kyle Army, if you remember, in race 1. His pace just died towards the end.
Yeah, it's like fuel map, maybe? Again? Didn't I say that last time?
I think so, yeah. Possibly so. Drop down the order.
Did he say after his pit stop race, the car just died?
Yeah, race 1, Kyle Army. Max Mulder's past Gary Leach.
Yeah.
Team SBR. Oh, no. Gary Leach has got back ahead of Max Mulder.
And the race leaders... race leaders are behind them.
Team SPR. Not had the night here.
No. Unfortunately not, but it's the way it goes. Some tracks suit you and some don't. And, well, Monza next.
Yeah, Jacob's just put in the chat, Monza T1 is going to be good to watch. You should try stewarding it.
Yeah. Oh wait, I still have to do that still.
Schundelmeyer's on the back of Blackmore here. This is 15th and 16th place coming up the hill. He's going to look up the inside at the corkscrew. Blackmore gives him the room and down they dip. Through they go. Nothing happens of it. Rasmussen's dropping McGowan a little bit now, looking at him gaps.
Yeah, it's starting to stretch out, isn't it?
And Michael Eckholt's past Ben, and he's on the back of Mike Mathews now. And these three, have dropped Clouden.
They have. Well, Clouden's what, about 4 seconds off the back of Ben?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you've got the Blackmore-Schundelmeyer's fight, and then there's about 20-second gap to Harris. And then 11 seconds to Macchiato. Daz is with Paro.
We're watching the Eckholt-Mike Mathews fight at the moment. this is going to be a close one. Eckholt, obviously your race 1 winner, trying to score just a few more points. I tell you what, though, I think I've got my driver of the day, Rasmussen. What a drive.
What a debut. Yeah, I think I'm with you with that one. Somehow. As O'Reilly has caught the back of McGowan.
Yeah, so McGowan's just lost a bit of pace all of a sudden here. Are the Ferraris just starting to die a little?
Did they change tyres? That is the question.
Did they change tyres? That's the other question, yeah, because O'Reilly was... I know he had a moment, didn't he? So did he possibly change tyres?
You know, what, we'll have lots of tyre change in November?
Possibly Cota.
Or
Possibly Cota.
A certain multi-hour race.
Oh, the Bathurst, yeah, the Bathurst 6-hour final race of the Endurance Championship. The new Endurance calendar will be coming out later in the year. Make sure you stick around for that one. Sign-ups will be going out in our new format of sign-ups, hopefully, which will be through the SimGrid and the SimGrid only.
I've tried driving the track around Bathurst. No. I think some of it is me, but no.
Down.
Oops.
This is McGowan, and there's Rasmussen back within 9/10 now of McGowan.
And the battle for the leads within 7/10 as well.
Yeah, the battle for the leads within 7/10. So all these Ferraris just starting to die off a little bit.
Possibly. But again, it depends on tyre strategy.
I tell you what, though, Skunky's been in some form, Phil. Look back at his last couple of results here. First, third, second.
Yeah. Quite nice results.
Brilliant, innit? Brilliant.
Yeah, and you think he was only really a GT4 driver to begin with.
Yeah, joined in the Ginetta last year. He's still racing the Ginetta this season, and he's doing pretty well.
Do you know what might not be very good at Monza? Straight line speed? That Ginetta. Probably going to struggle there. Do you know what will struggle more?
What's that?
But we went none on the grid. The KTM.
You see, you say that. I was looking at the balance of performance for GT4 the other day, and I don't think it struggles as much as you think.
But then again, no one would use a KTM.
It gains 14 kilograms. The Aston Martin loses 40. So if we ran Bop in GT4, it actually gains more than the Aston Martin.
Only a special breeder idiot ran the KTM in the first GT4 season he did. I don't know who that was.
Right then. Where are we? Let's have a look.
It's a three-way battle for first place.
Yeah, Rasmussen, McGowan and O'Reilly just dropping down to Eckholt. Still behind Mike, with Ben still in close proximity. Schundelmeyer still on the back of Blackmore. Yo is on the back of Paolo. And Gary is now well clear of Max, and Max has had another moment up the hill.
He's backed out of the way. He's got... No, now he's not clear track.
Yeah, just another moment for Max. He's just had a bad night as Max Mulder. So that's going to confirm Gary that place. Dan's within 9/10 now of the lead a bit. He's lost a couple of tenths here.
Yeah, as they head towards the Andretti hairpin.
Well, we've got just under 8 minutes left.
What?
4 or 5 laps, I'd say, yeah. Maybe looking at 3 to 4 laps, should I say. Eckholt's getting closer to the back of Mike Matthews here then. Really fancying a move towards the end. Sky Schundelmeyer's been staring at the back of Blackmore for a while. And Clouden, look, since Clouden got past Phil, he's just had nothing. Blackmore and Sky look like they're catching him.
Possibly, yeah, but... I tell you, Sky will be getting bored of the back of the McLaren, and he's probably glad he ain't driving one this season.
Let's look at the sector time then. So 8.3 Clouden, it was 3.4, it's 2.3. Blackmore and Schundelmeyer are taking chunks out of Clouden at the moment.
Has Clouden burnt his tyres up?
Well, whatever he's done, he is struggling so far.
As Monkey Boy just said, pit line start might be good next week.
Yeah, imagine.
Oh, sorry, I've forgotten to ready up. I pressed drive too late. Oh, what a shame.
Real battle on now for P3. They're on the back of Harris to put a lap on Harris. He's down in 17th. Real battle on for P4 at the moment. O'Reilly pressure in the back of McGowan. Harris stays right off the circuit. And O'Reilly's getting closer. He looked strong at this stage last week, but it was for the race win. He's going to try and look around the outside, up and under. Does he get that cut back? Has he got the run?
Close.
I think he has, Phil. I think he's alongside.
Has he got the horsepower now to put alongside the newer Ferrari? As they break now for the Andretti hairpin.
Yeah, O'Reilly.
Oh, absolute block pass.
O'Reilly's up the inside. Block pass confirmed. And now he can head down after Rasmussen for a podium and damage limitation to Dan. Obviously, with Dan probably getting that drop score. Eckholt's got Ben back on the rear of him. Still close to Mike. Oh, Mike drops a wheel in the dirt. Blackmore's on the back of Clouden as well. And Schundelmeyer's there.
Maybe that damage is hurting him.
Gotta be. Something's not right with that Mercedes. We normally say in race 2 how strong it seems to get, and it seems to get stronger and stronger through race 2. And it hasn't.
I'll tell you one thing, we've got 5.5 minutes left, and the 131 is around at the corkscrew. That's Gary.
Yeah, he's in the wall, waiting for a clear path. Through he goes.
These three are going to get lapped.
Which three?
Oh, Blackmore just tapped the rear of Clouden into the Andretti hairpin.
Yeah, and Sky's going to have a run around the outside. Clouden giving him a flash of the lights. Yeah, that'll probably be a ticket going in.
As here come the race leaders. They are going to be lapped. I can see Skunky and Dan.
Clouden being lapped. That is just a very big surprise to me.
He was in championship contention last season.
Yeah.
In both GT3s and GT4.
That Mercedes just hasn't done it, has it? It just isn't the car.
Well, for the endurance race, only Aston still.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is would the Aston have been a better car for him?
Possibly, yeah, because you've got, especially like at Bathurst, because you're going to have setups ready for the Bathurst. Yeah. 6 hour, but I think the vote's gone for it to be 4 hours because, you know.
Yeah, because of the servers.
Because of the servers being a bit.
I think it's going to be starting at the same time, but down to a 4-hour race.
But we could have it like ×2, can't we?
Yeah,
Sky's got in front of Blackmore as Clouden pulls out of the way and let Dan and Skunky through.
Yeah, now Skunky's got to try and navigate his way through Blackmore. Blackmore staying to that inside line, allows Skunky to get through. He stays there as well to let Dan get through. So that's them two done. Back to the Eckholt, Ben and Mike fight. That's gaps opened up a little bit more.
O'Reilly's on the back of Rasmussen. They've dropped McGowan, so...
Yeah, they have. McGowan's just died at the end of this race, Phil.
Yeah, well, also lost a bit of track time earlier because of real life reasons.
Yeah.
And they come first. And Eckholt, can he get past Mike? Because Mike is like a cork in a bottle of Christmas probably. Oh, sorry, I'm getting them in now. Because once Halloween's over.
Exactly. Exactly. Right, here we go then. Leaders coming towards the final laps
Eckholt
of
looking around the outside. Can he get the cut back? I'm just watching the...
yeah, no, that's fine.
Mike,
just about to say, looking towards the end of this race here. What a race it's been at the moment for Skunky. It's quietened down as this race has gone on. There's still been fights, but no real moves happening here or there. As Ben's looking to the outside, I think he's just outbraked himself a little bit.
Yeah, as we're going in the final 2.5 minutes of this fantastic race.
Dan's had a moment somewhere.
He has, haven't he?
The gap's 3.1, so Dan's had a moment somewhere.
Did
so
he make a move?
I'm not sure. That could put to bed the end of this race. And at the minute...
race was Skunky.
Oh, fantastic drive. Fantastic drive. At the minute, Rasmussen is coming under pressure from O'Reilly.
2 to go.
There is
on track.
definitely two to go. He's just coming up towards turn 6. And here comes Rasmussen on debut, currently on the podium. Wright is on the back of Vienna. He's got Tim Venting. Is that Tim Venting or is that Max Mulder? That must be Max Mulder that is there. Who is just behind Matt Wright and Pedro Vienna here. So that's another fight happening. Eckholt side by side with Mike Matthews. He's just been on the dirt a little bit. He's going to have that inside line of the final corner. Ben nearly hits the back of Mike. Mike tries to go up and under, but Eckholt parks her on the apex, an absolute peach. And Eckholt through on the inside. Great move, Michael Eckholt. Schundelmeyer still staring at the back of Blackmore. But Mike Matthews, helpless there.
Yeah, it's our race 1 winner.
Oh, Eckholt's wide.
Deep.
Very deep.
He's on the marbles.
And Mike Matthews is not going to need a second invitation. Leader starts the final lap. And Mike Matthews back up into P11.
Also, we missed it. Daz has got in front of Paolo.
He has got in front of Paolo, so that's put Daz back up to 19th place. Harris is on the back of Machado. Schundelmeyer still looking at the back of Blackmore. Leader's just in front of this fight. So O'Reilly's got one lap to catch and pass that of Rasmussen, who has been fantastic so far.
Yeah, and we're going to have 2 PlayStation. Yeah, just with interviews in it, I guess. Oh, Skunky, don't keep push too hard. Now you're on the final lap. You've got the corkscrew coming up, and this corner will bite as it dips down the hill. What a drop the corkscrew is!
Who else had a good result in race 1? Let's take a look. Where did Dan finish? Dan got 30th, Machado 4th. He was down the order here. Let's go back to Skunky though, because he's coming towards the final corner now, and Skunky, who has been the man on form, is going to take the final win of the day. It is then going to be Skunky to take round 8 race win. Great drive from him. Dan Davis P2. What a drive. Skunky also with the fastest lap of the race. Rasmussen versus O'Reilly to the final corner. Here they come now then. Who is going to be able to take that final spot? It is going to be that of the debutant Rasmussen. A 3rd and an 8th on the podium on debut. O'Reilly will take P4. McGowan is going to come across for a P5. Not a bad drive from McGowan there. Just lost out at the end. Ledger, good result for him. He's going to come across for a P6. Again, another decent result for him. Before Pedro Vienna, slow at the final corner. He's trying to make sure he gets away ahead of Matt Wright. Looks like he is going to get away ahead of Matt Wright. And Matt Wright is then going to come home for P8, P7 for Ledger, as Max and Tim are going to drive across the line together. Not a great race for Max Mulder. Tim Venting a little better there. Daniel is going to come across for a P10. Before Mike Matthews will come across for P11. A hard-fought P11. Where's Eckholt gone? He's actually dropped behind Ben now. So Eckholt's dropped behind Ben. What a shame. But Ben down in 12th at the moment, and that then was the final places. Machado down in 17th. Michael Harris was down in 18th. We've got that of Max Mulder was down in 22nd. Gary Leach was 21st, sadly due to the disconnection. Darren Yeo was 19th, not a great race for him. Ben was 12th. Decent race, I suppose. Paolo 20th in there. Jamal Clouden, disappointing race for him. 16th place. Matt Wright was then up that order a little bit in P8. Decent result for him. Michael Eckholt was 13th at the end of that one. And we then will jump into the Discord chat and be back in a couple of seconds. So we are live in the Discord call at the moment then, just awaiting some drivers to join us on the podium. But Phil, tonight's been a fantastic race, hasn't it? It's been a great night of action. Just give us your final thoughts on your driver of the day while we wait for a few drivers.
Oh, final thoughts. How close is Pro? I mean, it's fantastic how close it is. Driver of the day is for me, our Davidson. That's not a word, is it? No. New driver, so I just... So simple is Julius Rasmussen with his Don't know where he finished race 1, but podium in race 2, that's really good. As
yeah, not a bad evening for him. I'm going to give him the drive for today as well. I think he's done a great debut.
you'd have now. Matt. Jace just said in YouTube, I can't hear the comms.
That's because I've kept myself on mute on the thingy. So I've just read all them tables out and you couldn't hear me. Brilliant. Apologies for that then. We'll leave that for another day. We have got, though, one driver in the comms box. That is Dan Davis. And, yeah, let's just start with something. I'm not going to give anything away, but that was a trickier race too than what the viewers could see.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Jeez. My wrists hurt. I'm pumping with adrenaline, and my feet hurt as well. But well-deserved Skunky. That was a fantastic drive. I gave him everything, but I had nothing left. I stuck with him pretty much for a second throughout most of that race, and I could not get any closer. But what a drive from him. Spectacular. I just made one too many mistakes, and he got the win. You can't win them all, and he got me. So congrats to him.
Yeah, congrats to him. Talk us through your race 1, though, because it was a difficult evening, race 1. First of all, did you get caught up in that melee at turn 2?
No. I've come to the conclusion I hate milestones, because whenever a milestone comes along, I tend to do rubbish. And also, I don't like Laguna. It's clear, even in a front-engine car or a mid-engine car, I just can't seem to gel with this circuit. I keep making too many mistakes, and race 1 brought that along. But I missed all the chaos. I managed to work my way through, and I was making good time. And then, obviously, the chaos that happened just in the penultimate corner, I thought, let's get in the pits now. And unsure if my limiter was actually on or off, and I just revved a little bit too much, and that's why I got a drive-through. And yeah, the pace was solid. I was doing 22 forwards in the back of the pack and catching people quickly. It's just a shame it was the wrong end of the pack, but that's racing. That's how it goes. You can't always perfect every race.
Yeah, that's it. Now, the throat hurts. PN's deaf, as is probably most of our viewers. You are somehow the master of chucking it all together at that last lap in qualifying. How good a lap was that from you? Because from what we saw, it was fantastic.
There was... you're never happy. You never, I don't get why F1 drivers and GT drivers and all the just general drivers say you never do the perfect lap, because there were still bits in that lap that I was picking. But it was like do or die. I just went hell with it, took a deep breath, and sent it, and it came together. Like I said, a few little mistakes here and there, but I'm still frustrated that I didn't do a 21. I did say to you boys before we started that whoever would do a 21 would be on pole, and I just missed out by 7 thousandths. But it was a decent lap. It was spectacular.
Monza next week, Dan. We know how good the Lexus looks at Monza at the moment with its 6th gear. It's going to be a difficult one, obviously coming from the back of the grid with that tricky first chicane, but what can you do around Monza next week?
I'm very confident in this car around Monza. Obviously, the middle sector, especially Ascari, is an issue. We got to work on the curbs and work on the suspension there because it can't quite run them quite well. But we'll have a tweak and a play. But everywhere else, this thing's an absolute animal in a straight line, and I am going to be very interested in turn 1, especially because if I get a decent run out of Parabolica and I get into 6th gear, this thing is ridiculous. It just swamps cars. Fastest I've ever been around Monza is in this car. So yeah, I'm feeling very, very confident for Monza.
Well, it looks good there. We also had a special guest commentator in the box in that qualifying session. He wants to say a final word.
Hello, Dan.
Hello, James.
First place, but then dropped down to second. But second on the podium is a very good place for you.
Yeah, mate, it was very good. I'm very happy with it. Skunky was just the better man today, just like Jake Hill beating Tom Ingram. But you can never let a good champion down. So just like Tom Ingram, I'll keep fighting.
Well, Dan, congratulations this afternoon and evening. We move on to Monza next week then. Join Dan Davis back in the commentary box for Pro-Am on Tuesday night, 8 p.m. GMT. There is no +1 this week. The clocks go backwards on Sunday. Myself and Dan Davis will be back in the box on Wednesday night for Pro-Am. And then myself, and we don't know who at the moment, for Pro on Halloween evening. We head to Monza. What a night it's going to be. Also, Rasmussen, driver of the day, not only from myself and Phil, but from the audience as well. And Micro J says, James for commentator of the day. So that leaves us to say one thing. From me, Phil, and from James. Good night.
Bye.
Bye, guys.